All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. I hope everybody's doing okay today. Yes. Yeah, for now, Irfin. For now. Dwayne, what's going on, man? Paul, Petrov, Ghetto God. Hope you're all doing relatively okay today. Does my last message say yo, or is there a Japanese letter with yes after it? It's Japanese letter with yes after it. Ghetto God. I have no idea why. No idea. Yeah, sorry about that, man. Yesterday's stream was later than normal. It was later than normal. Yo, MBG, how are you? I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Yeah, so we got a couple things to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit more about Wolverine. We have a few more details to go over. So we covered some of the previews yesterday, and I think we kind of got a pretty good understanding of what the previews were saying. But there's a few other details that I think I kind of like glossed over or skimmed over. Didn't really, some things I didn't even mention. Jedi, what's up, man? Am I getting Mortal Shell 2? Probably not at launch. It's a game I would like to play. I played the beta for it. It was good. It was good. Yeah, Pragmata was good. I didn't like Pragmata as much as most other people did, though, to be honest. You think they're showing too much of Wolverine, Irfin? Raven, what's going on, man? I don't know. It's hard to say if they're showing too much. Like, a takeaway that I got from the previews yesterday is it seemed like they were holding a lot back. Like, that was the assumption that most of the previewers made, you know? So I gotta know, did you get the... Oh, you're asking if I ended up getting a copyright claim from playing a couple seconds of the soundbite? No. Luckily I didn't. So I think I could, you could push it to like 4 or 5 seconds, I believe. Which is good, because I wasn't sure. They got to sell the game because it's all about the marketing. Yeah, I mean, Sony, the way that it's not just Sony, but the way most video game companies do it these days is they just kind of like, they seem to ramp up the marketing to like 11, usually within like the month leading up to it. So you'll go months and months and months with like very minimal, but then they'll just drop everything at once and just kind of bombard you and overwhelm you and, kind of create a sense of FOMO. And it seems to be pretty effective. It seems to work. Did I already buy GTA 6, Wolverine, and Halloween? No, I haven't purchased anything yet. Although I probably am going to have to do a pre-order for Wolverine sooner rather than later so I can get the physical copy. Halloween, yeah, I don't know. I kind of forgot that game was coming too. That game looks good. The GTA 6, I'm in no rush for, But yeah, we were talking about the Wolverine previews yesterday, and there was a couple of things that I wanted to go over here. So it says from its first gameplay reveal, Insomniac Games made it clear that Marvel's Wolverine is a linear action title, a stark contrast to the open world Spider-Man series. While many welcome the change in place, there are worries about longevity and replay value. The senior project director reiterated to IGN that this is a story-driven adventure. Logan is pulled through uncovering these mysteries of his past. However, players can go off the beaten path. It could be discovering materials for unlocking new suits or collecting bottles for progression. However, there's also nightmare doors described as manifestations of the horrible things happening in Logan's mind. There's many of those throughout the game with different types of trials. So if you were wondering about the strange door in the story trailer or how Logan navigates seemingly nightmarish environments, there's your answer. But they also say mission replay is going to be available to re-experience previously cleared parts of the story, so you can, clean up collectibles. But they also say New Game Plus is going to be available day one. They say in a New Game Plus, you can use all of your loadout and progression that you've already unlocked. You can choose whatever suit you want. So there's some fun things that can happen there. And there's also apparently certain adaptations that are only available in New Game Plus. Mr. Hamster, aka Soyu, aka Mr. Hamster, you're saying MBG, I found this worse than Blighttown, the Bed of Chaos. Yeah, the Bed of Chaos is notoriously bad. The main reason for that, Mr. Hamster, is because the main reason is because they didn't really finish the game. Well, they did, but like they were rushing at the end, and the last couple of areas they, including the Bed of Chaos, like they really had to rush, and so it just didn't. The last couple parts of Dark Souls is considered not that great, to be honest, but it's all right. Really, Ghetto God, you're not picking it up. They didn't say anything about the length of the game. No, they didn't. They didn't answer any questions about length. And it seems like they might not. I think it's clearly going to be on the shorter side. Not like extremely short, but you hate that they did the Sentinel fight. Like they keep doing the same thing over the years. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, yeah, I guess. I think that's just I think there's going to be a full-blown Sentinel fight later in the game. But yeah, something else that they confirmed that I didn't get to talk about yesterday is that Wolverine is going to play at 60 frames per second with ray tracing enabled on the base PS5. And Insomniac is letting us know that this is the first time they've achieved this on the base PS5. They didn't give specifics on what you can expect with the Pro, but they did say you can expect the visuals to be pushed further on the Pro. So, not bad, man. I mean, Insomniac, they're, they just keep getting better and better. Imagine the end credit scene ends with the Hulk tease. Mike, what's up, man? Kendall Fire with a $5 chat says, I hope they do something new with Spider-Man 3. A Spider-Gwen or Spider-Man 2099 game would be insane. I think they're going to shake things up a little bit with Spider-Man 3. I think they kind of have to. I mean, Spider-Man 2 is good. I don't know that the things they tried to shake up in Spider-Man 2 really landed as well as they had hoped. But yeah, I think with Spider-Man 3, we're coming off of Spider-Man 1, 2, and Miles Morales. They got to do something very different, I think. Whether or not they'll do something with Spider-Gwen or Spider-Man 2099, not sure. Not entirely sure about that. But apparently there's a Venom game. So that's the crazy thing, is like we're getting Wolverine in like a month, and then apparently, if the rumors are to be believed, next year we're getting a Venom game. The Wolverine game is complete on the disc. They did confirm that as well. Yeah, I have another report up here. Even as Insomniac Games reveals more about Marvel's Wolverine than ever before, right down to the New Game Plus being available on day one, a certain pall hangs over it. Of course, we're talking about PlayStation's decision to stop producing discs for new games from January 2028 onwards. If it's any comfort, however, Marvel's Wolverine will have a physical disc at launch, and thankfully, it's not cosmetic. The project director confirmed to Eurogamer that it's fully playable. Marvel's Wolverine will come out in digital and physical versions, and the game will be fully playable on the disc when you purchase it. That said, there will be a day one patch, as is always the case for games nowadays, and you are encouraged to download it. We want people or encourage people to download the day one patch because we are right now working on it, and we're continuing over the next few months before release to work on polish and some bug fixing. The head of technology, Mike Fitzgerald, chimed in to encourage the same. He says, I would say we're perfectionists. We take every minute we can get to just tweak this little thing, make everything a little bit better. We're going to squeeze as much out of it as we can. And so if players download the patch, they get a little bit of extra time. So there you go. But it's just awkward, you know. I have to admit, it's kind of awkward to see this it's all. I mean, it's good that they're confirming this, but it's like it's just going to be weird in the future, you know, when like so where's the where's the physical version? Oh, there's no physical version. Yeah, I don't know. There's just some kind of like weird disconnect here where it's like Insomniac is out here saying like, yeah, the game's fully playable on the disc. And, you know, presumably Venom, it's like, yeah, there's none. Am I a bit down today? Yeah, I'm very down today. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like complete shit. Sorry if it's coming through. Apologies. The Wolverine game does look good, but to me, Insomniac games are one and done experiences, so I'll wait for a sale. I mean, that's fair. I've seen a few people saying they're going to be waiting. You know, when it comes to Insomniac's games, in my opinion, there is no denying, and it depends on who you ask. Is it a bad thing? Is it a problem? It depends on who you ask, right? Their games lean on the shorter, kind of like you're saying, like one and done type of experience. For me, I've never had a problem with that. Like, I'm okay with the idea of, you know, playing a really well-made, really sophisticated, highly polished AAA Wolverine game and getting, you know, 20 to 30 hours out of it with everything. I'm okay with that. I feel like I don't need them to be like, this game's 60 hours, man, in order for me to be excited about it. You know, we did talk about this the other day, but like there is a limit. If it's like you can beat this game in 8 hours and do 90% of what the game has to offer in 12. Yeah, that might be a little like, whoa, okay, like this game took 5 years to make. You know, like that would be a little concerning, but I do think there's a reason why Insomniac isn't really talking about it, you know? They're not really talking about the length of the game. I'm sure that they were asked questions, but they were, you know, obviously they have Sony's PR team with them and whatnot, and I'm fairly certain like that was an off limits question. Like we're not giving you playtime. Is that cause for concern? I'm not sure. Like, I think Sony just wants to avoid more negative headlines or any negative headlines around Wolverine. And I think that if they come out and they're like, yeah, you could beat the game in like 12 to 14 hours, something like that, I feel like that's just going to create negative headlines. You know, like that's just going to create a bad, you know, just some potential bad news around their game 1 month to launch. But, you know, maybe they will come out and confirm it. But I think if they were going to talk about it, they would have said it during these previews. You think they're not talking about it because they're going to sell us a game a couple of times with multiple DLC? I don't know if there's going to be DLC. I don't know. Something changed with Insomniac where like they had a bunch of DLC plans for Spider-Man 2. They had like a bunch. And they were all canceled. And they did no DLC for Spider-Man 2. So I don't know if that's going to carry over to Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine DLC would be awesome. I'd buy it. I'd be there. You know, I'd get as much Wolverine as I can. But think it'll go for 20 hours if you want to get the plat. That's what I'm thinking too, Irfin. Yeah. And I don't know. It's interesting, man. It's interesting because people there's like this expectation, I think, where it's like if you're gonna pay $70 for a game, like the playtime has to be really long. Like it's like it's got to be beyond. I think a lot of people feel like it's got to be minimum like 35 to 40 hours. But I don't know. I don't agree with that personally because to me it boils down to the quality of the experience, you know. I feel like if a developer wants to, of course they can extend the playtime of a game, but it's to me it's what is involved in that playtime. I think for some games, they have grinding, they have a lot of side quests if it's open world, and so it just naturally lends itself to being a longer experience. But we don't really get a lot of single player linear based games these days. And, it just doesn't really make sense to me. Like it would be interesting if Insomniac was like, it takes 30 hours to beat Wolverine. You know, like that would raise an eyebrow because it's like 30 hours. What are you doing for like half that playtime? You know? And if it was like a massive open world and you're like, that's why, but I don't know. I mean, the idea of doing an open world Wolverine game, I don't even know how that works, to be honest. I don't know how you would do an open world Wolverine game. You like the adamantium controller? You need to pre-order Control 2. Yeah, Control Resonant. Yeah, it's another September game, man. You think the hardest difficulty will be locked at the beginning? Well, I do wonder. I'm assuming the trophy list won't be anything crazy. It usually isn't for Insomniac games. Give him a Harley Davidson to roam the world. Yeah, I mean, you could see something like that, but I think it's like when you look at Spider-Man, the reason why it's so easily an open world game is because you're in New York City. Wolverine, I mean, he's not really known to just be in one location, and I think that's why they chose not to make it open world. I mean, an alternative would be to make it, um, wide linear, which would mean each area is like a mini open world. I don't know that I would have preferred that. I'm not so sure that I would have preferred that. I I feel like truthfully we don't get enough single player linear games. And I kind of just feel like there's a greater appreciation from me personally for those types of games because they're more scarce. And I do, sometimes I do get the sense with some games, it's like, yeah, of course it's open world because that's what you got to do in AAA gaming these days. It's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, maybe it's not as prominent as it was before, but fully expect it to be like Ninja Gaiden, mostly linear. Yeah, I love linear games, man. Always have. As long as it's a quality experience from start to finish, that's all that matters. 'Yeah, we talked about that, Radic. The MGS4 Platinum staying the same. Indeed, it is. Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Nico, what's up, man? Uh, I'm okay today. I'm not great today. Not feeling great. I'll be honest. Today's another one of those days where I was questioning whether or not I should do a stream or not, and I don't know. I was feeling it. I won't lie. Like I was feeling much better earlier, and then like now I don't know. But I guess that happens. It happens. What are you gonna do about it? 400K sold in a week for a Marvel game is a flop. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. Alinea Analytics. So Reese Elliott says Marvel Tokon sells 485,000 copies on PS5 and Steam. PS5 accounts for 74% of the split, while Steam takes 26%. It's made $33 million in revenue across those platforms. The lower Steam share tracks with many fighting games skewing to console due to easier to access couch multiplayer. Marvel's Tokon Steam launch, though, was marred by performance issues, bugs, intrusive DRM, and no Linux support. Arc has been patching hard, and many issues are already fixed, but first impressions are sticky. Tokon might have sold closer to 1 million if the Steam stuff hadn't been such an issue. Word of mouth was cut short. Our estimates show that about 75% of Marvel Tokon players live in North America, with the majority, of course, in the US. This helps explain why the PS5 physical share is at 15.1%, lower than usual for a new PlayStation game. US players skew more digital than most regions, and this is a heavily American audience. The PS5 audience overlap, the shared unique players between Tokon and the other games, shows the hardcore fighting game core tapped in. The entire top 10 by crossover is fighting games, with Fatal Fury, City of Wolves, 8% crossover, Invincible versus 8%, and DNF Duel 7% leading the way. And so it says 52% of Marvel Tokon players played Dragon Ball FighterZ, 49% played Street Fighter V, 41% played Mortal Kombat 1, 39% played Street Fighter 6, and 35% Tekken 7. Let me see what else is revealed here. $33 million in revenue. So, yeah, I mean, looking over this, it seems a bit mixed. On like one hand, some people believe that hitting almost 500K for a fighting game is actually pretty decent, and it will, you know, it'll, I don't know. Maybe it'll pick up. But why is this dude covering Wolverine? I thought he was done with PlayStation. You know what I love? I love when people who don't watch my channel come in and say stupid ass shit. I love that. It's my favorite thing. What do they say about well, for physical sales for Marvel Tokon, they're saying that it sold like 15%. You know? I don't know. I'm in a fighting mood today, to be honest. If any trolls enter the chat, leave them be. I want to. The bait used to be believable. Yeah, used to be. Goddamn, Irfin. Marvel Tokon Open Beta had more numbers than Gears E-Day Open Beta. Is that true? That can't be true. Or, I mean, I don't know. It's Marvel, so it's, I guess it. I'm going to attack you, Irfin. Well, I mean, I don't know if Marvel Tokon's going to pick up sales or not. I mean, it could be a slow burn type game, but my whole thing with it is the Marvel license. I can't imagine that I can't imagine it's where they want it to be. You know what I mean? We have a Cheese and Chainsaws. He says, apparently Netflix may have 3 GTA reveal videos from the leak, so probably August, September, October leading up to release. Makes more sense why they got it. Equals 3 months subbed. Yeah, I saw that. Jeez, man. They're going to have 3 separate episodes, supposedly. It would make a lot more sense. Sheesh. I mean, I guess that's a lot of watch parties. Makes me feel like they're going to show a lot, though. It's like each one is 5 minutes. That would suck, man. The GTA stuff isn't happening till the 27th. The Spixban, you're saying, don't pre-order Wolverine, fight the FOMO, and wait for release. If after release the consensus is that the game is worth playing, then rent the game. F Sony. F Sony, bro. Fuck Sony. I don't know, man. I don't know. I realize that, like, it's all, I don't know, I guess it's all relative, you know? Marvel Tokon is good. I mean, like, I'm all about the sentiment of, like, F Sony to send a message. I encourage people to do what they got to do, but I don't know, man. You got to just, like, I look around and I do think that where things are right now, and I think where they're going to be for a long time. Don't know how long exactly, but I think a long time is like you just have to like make a choice, you know. You have to either, I don't want to say accept. That's not like the term I want to use, but it's like I guess that is the term to use though. It's like you just have to accept that this is what they're doing and this is how things are going to be. Or don't accept it, reject it, but understand in your rejection it's not going to change anything. You know? Um I was on the Spixpan. Oh, I appreciate that, Spixpan. I was on the PlayStation YouTube channel yesterday and I was going through each video, you know? And I was curious to see like is every one of their comment section for every video PlayStation uploads still flooded with people raging and, you know, talking about discs? And the answer is yes. I couldn't find a video where that wasn't all over the place. You know, it's just thousands of comments. I went to go check the there were a couple of like, you know, bigger trailers that Sony put out that got way more views, like the Ghost of Yotei and Phantom Blade Zero, and also the Mafia O Murder collection. And I was like laughing because there was this one comment and it got a bunch of upvotes. And they were like, I love how everybody's sticking together for physical discs. And like we're like Sony's in for a rude awakening. I'm like, oh, I kind of just shake my head because it's like, come on, man. Like there's like 2,000 comments tops on this YouTube video. It's got hundreds of thousands of views. The vast majority of people have already decided that they're playing on PlayStation. They're going to buy their games on PlayStation, you know? And I guess it's just like, I think I will say though, I have grown to have a greater appreciation for the comments that people are leaving because people are being funny about it. Like now they're trying to make disc-based comments based on the game and they're getting creative about it. And I'm like, I appreciate that. But that one comment in particular just really struck me because it's like I do think that I guess maybe I'm just like jaded because it's like I've been down this road before, you know. That's the problem. It's thousands of comments, not millions upon millions. Sony don't care. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I guess I just feel kind of jaded about the whole thing because I've been down this road before. And I'm starting to see, like, what people are doing. And it's like, first time, you know? And what I'm referring to is, like, with Xbox. You know, I remember, like, I spent years and years and years, you know, coming off as, like, the angry X or whatever. You know, that's how people would refer to it. And you know, I didn't care because I'm like, no, dude, like they got to listen eventually. They got to change. And it's like enough time went by. It's like they're going to change. All right. They're going to change. But it's not going to be because of anything you said or did. And it's probably not going to be what you requested. And over a long enough time, I just kind of was like, fuck. Okay. Damn. None of this mattered. I was just spinning my wheels, wasting, you know, wasting my time. But I don't know. I guess it just depends on what mood I'm in sometimes. Sometimes I get that gust of energy, you know, that burst of energy, I should say, of anger and frustration. I just want to like bitch. And people do respond to that, but other times I'm just like, what's it matter, The Spixpan, you're saying, see, I disagree with the sentiment, MBG. Things will change. If Sony doesn't change, then our playing habits will. We don't. Well, you said we don't need Sony to survive or be happy. And that's true. That's true. Angry X and now new partners cheating on the MBG. God damn. God, I'm getting it from all directions. Well, you know what, Spixpan. I mean, here, so like, I've talked extensively about. I think the next time people, the only other chance, the only other opportunity that people have to make Sony really feel something is going to be with the PS6. It's going to be with the PS6. And, will it, like, everybody's convinced that the PS6 is going to fail. And to be honest, I lean on that side too. Like, I'm leaning on the side of like, yeah, Sony's got a lot going against them. But here's like the realization I had about this whole situation. This is the realization I had. If the PlayStation 6 shits the bed, then it is a failure. Sony still has 100 million PS5s and potentially 100 million PS5 players. They still have an active player base of well over 100 million players. And when you consider the amount of money and revenue, just revenue and profit they can likely extract from that, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I think Sony has a plan for if the PS6 fails, and you already see people kind of, stating like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with the PS5, or like the PS5 is my last console. And it's like, what you're basically telling Sony is like, as long as they continue to support the PS5, you're still there, like, I go back to what I originally said numerous times. And I said, the line is drawn. You're either in or you're out. And I didn't want to believe that myself, and I fought against myself with that. I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. There's got to be more to it. But I do believe that's where we are. I think that's where we have been. And I think, it's going to dawn on everybody at a different time. It's going to be different for everybody. But I think everybody's eventually going to come to that conclusion that, like, unless you completely walk away from PlayStation, like, they still got you. They still got you. If you have a PS5 and that PS5's hooked up and you're even remotely receptive to turning it on, even if it's just for one game, they still got you. And they know that. And I don't know, like, there just seems to be like a kind of, you're on one side or the other. Either you believe Sony's going to be fully fine, or, or they're on their fucking way out. I saw somebody, they said a comment like Sony shot themselves in the foot and they're like bleeding out, and I'm like, you need a reality check. Sony's going to set a new record for the industry with the amount of money they make. This is what I'm saying, man. It's like, people are living in their own reality. They're like, they've made things up in their mind and they decided that this is the truth. And it's like, it's not. You can delude yourself all you want, but I'm sorry, like, somebody's got to burst your bubble. Like, the actual reality. And I'm not saying I'm supporting this. I'm happy about it. I'm just saying, it's like, dude, they're literally going to make the most money ever made by a video game company. That's what they're telling their shareholders. And they would not tell their shareholders that if they weren't damn fucking confident that's going to happen. So what I'm trying to say is, like, the literal opposite of what people are telling themselves is going to happen is happening. But if we're talking long term, I don't know, man. Who knows? Like, if you want to talk to me about the end of 2027 going into 2028, who knows? Maybe Sony's predicting a complete collapse at that point. It's hard to say. GTA 6 is on PS5. Witcher 4 was showcased on PS5. Sony knows that they have 5+ years of PS5 loyalty, even PS6, if PS6 struggles. Exactly. They know this. We have Michael Membership Werneth coming in. And look at that. Spixband just got a membership. Michael Membership Werneth, he comes in. He kicks it off today by dropping 5 member gifts for you guys.
Holy shit.
Michael, thank you so much for that, buddy. I appreciate it. Guys, if you want to support what I do here, consider becoming a member. Consider gifting memberships, super chats, direct donations. These are all ways in which you can support me directly and continue to support the community as well. Just like Michael. Where's Mini Tom? Yeah, Mini Tom still ain't getting one. I don't know. He must be at the bottom of the list. He must be at the bottom of the list, man. He's been trying. Yeah, you know, it's kind of awkward, I think, right now, but I think there's also an alternate reality, or not an alternate reality, but like one of the things that no one wants to talk about is like, you can read all the comments you want. Doesn't mean they're true. And Shadowlink comes in. Shadowlink. He's watching Michael. He's like, oh, I got to do a little shadow drop. He drops 5 more member gifts for you guys. Hold on. What soundbite do I want to use here? Here we go.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But
that was not.
Cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah.
It's a Sony.
Find interference here. In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. I'm on my way. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
I hope you enjoyed that, Shadowlink. That was not the soundbite I meant to play. But there you go. Applicable nonetheless. Every time I hear that soundbite, I just imagine that's Sony. That's Sony's response to all of the comments that they've received. But yeah, Shadowlink, thank you so much for 5 more members gifted. This was the one I meant to play.
All aboard!
That was the one. And Mrs. MBG uses her milestone chat. She says, everyone hit that like button. Let's hit that member goal. I won a contest and got a ton of cat treats. LL Feed the Beast. Yeah, she did. She did. We got a lot of cat treats now. We're stocked up. Go figure. Go figure. Yeah, we hit the goal. I'll break out the treats for the cats. Yo, Em, I gotta know, what are you honestly gonna do if I drop $1,000 donation on one of these streams, bro? I don't know. I don't know, Jedi. Shadowlink, speaking of $1,000 donations, he dropped the $1,000 donation, and you know what I did with it? I bought a drum set. This drum set right here. That's from Shadowlink. He was the one who dropped it. MRP. Look at that. See, I mentioned Shadowlink, and what does he do? What does he do? He drops 20 for you guys. Shadowlink comes in. He does the shadow drop. He just dropped 25 member gifts.
Do it! Just do it! Yesterday,
MRPD is hype.
So just do it!
He got a member
Make
gift.
your dreams come true! Just
Shadowlink wants to make my
do
dreams
it!
come true. So does Jedi, apparently. I don't know, Jedi. $1,000 donation, bro? It's kind of crazy. I couldn't believe when Shadowlink did it. I genuinely thought he was kidding. And he wasn't. And he's like, yeah, man, go buy your drums. I'm like, fuck. I still play him. And Michael Wirt, bro. Michael Membership Werneth comes in and he drops another 20 on you guys. I'll play it again. I'll have to play the soundbite again.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
The cream's rising.
Interference here. In my moment of glory. Yeah,
Bro,
I'm
that's
living a
crazy.
nightmare. And
I mean, I
am
wanted
the
to hit the
cream.
goal, guys, but
Balance,
shit.
off balance doesn't matter. I'm better than you are. Yeah, I'm on.
That's right.
My way.
That's right.
And
Sony's telling you.
Nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Sony's telling you, I'm better than you are. I'm better than you. Michael, thank you so much. That's a hell of a member train. Michael dropped 25, Shadowlink dropped 25, and now Jedi is talking about dropping $1,000. I don't know why. He probably wants me to do something fucking crazy though. See, Shadowlink, I want to say too, by the way, I appreciate you were like, yeah, man, if I drop this massive donation, it's just because I want you to get a drum set for yourself. You know, maybe play it a couple times. You didn't ask me to do nothing crazy. I appreciate that. Who knows what I would do, though. But, guys, we are now at 50 members, and we also have a direct donation from Perfect Image. He says, when I say PS5 is going to be my last, meaning buy physical games for PS4 and 5 until the 2028 cutoff. After that, got Switch, and I'll be playing Zelda. I mean, we're going to see, Perfect Image. We're going to see, bro. Eat catnip? What? I'm not eating. Why is Mrs. MEG saying that in the chat? I'm not eating catnip. Shave your head if he drops 1K. Oh, you mean like shave it on stream? I mean, like, that's not the worst thing in the world, but it's like, do people really want to see that? Like, I feel like I don't know that Jedi would want to pay for that. Somebody would. Maybe. Snort the catnip instead? I'm not snorting catnip. I did see that on MRPD. I do need to give the cat some treats, though. Hold on. Okay, so that just came through. Come on. Boss, get over here, man. So I filled this up with the new treats we got, but we have way more than this. I was joking because there really isn't any point. I'm giving you an easy out. I mean, yeah. I mean, there was that one time when we were doing the Game Awards. I had like a really large member goal. I was like, we hit this, I'll shave my face. And I did. It was it's messy. It's messy. Bro, these aren't yours. Boss, where did you go? Are you serious? He left. He actually left. I'm offended. I guess he just doesn't want treats anymore. And these are the treats he likes. All right, well, we got Papa here. So Papa's here. I'll give him some treats. But I appreciate that, guys. Thank you for absolutely obliterating the member goal. It's all good, buddy. I made a promise and followed through and got to hear your drum. I was happy with that. Yeah, I think Papa's scaring him. Here, just toss him in. Can you imagine if they just exploded everywhere? All right, boss. I think boss is confused because he thinks these are different treats. Here we go, man. Yeah, and I was just going to say, like, I would be playing the drums more often at the end of my streams, but I've been trying to, like, refrain from doing that because of my neck. But eventually, when I'm healed, we'll be doing that again. Play Halo Campaign Evolved live for us. Oh, yeah, that sounds fun. Come here, boss. Come on. There, setting you up. All right. Come on. I don't know why boss is acting so weird. Anyway, appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you. Dude, hold on. He's frustrating me. Come on, come on, go, come here. Look, you want it? Hey, you want that? It's up here. There we go. Sorry, he's just like the boss is acting challenged. Did I play the Gears beta? I played it for a little bit on PC. Yeah, it was good. MBG, you're an honest broker, dude. If you want to cover other systems or just general gaming news, I'd be there for it if it matters, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll be expanding to an extent. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I still got to be honest with myself. There's a lot of trolls out there, and I can't deal with the trolls because it's just like whatever, man. Whatever. Here's an idea. Since I am technically a level 3 member, I drop 1,000. You got to 1v1 me on Battlefront 2 sometime. I shall teach you the ways of hand-to-hand combat, sir. Battlefront 2. I mean, that's a pretty modest request for $1,000. For $1,000, bro, $1,000. Battlefront 2. I played some Battlefront 2. Jedi, I don't know if you were here, man. I mean, clearly you're a big Star Wars fan. I don't know if you were here when I was having this conversation about the Battlefront games. And maybe you were, but I was talking about specifically Star Wars Battlefront 1. Like the one that came out, I think, in like 2015. And I was saying how they had this game mode in there called Hero Hunt. I think that's what it was called. And one person got to play as like Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Darth Vader or something. And the other 7 players had to try to hunt you down and take you out. But you were like super overpowered. I love that game mode, dude. I was obsessed with that game mode, and I got really good at it too. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to set something up where it's like, oh yeah, pay me money and I'll play games with you. I feel like it's a little, I don't know. It feels a little, little, I don't know. There's levels. What level member am I? Okay, so hold up, Michael. Well, it's not that there's levels. It's like, I think he meant like time period. Spickspan, thank you for the $10 chat buddy. You're saying PlayStation is shrinking. They have less units in the wild than last gen during the same time period. And that's with less competition. And at the beginning of the gen, they were selling faster than PS4. Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Spickspan. I think Sony is just as susceptible as any other company. I just think that the problem is they're too reinforced right now, and I think in the short to midterm. And I think the problem is if people are really hoping that like Sony hits a wall and finds some kind of like major, I don't know, like they have some kind of downfall. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think a lot of people expect that to happen with the PS6. A lot of people expect that to be the trajectory that PlayStation's on. Ultimately, like that's where they're headed. And I'm like, they could be, but I think that they understand that they bought themselves a lot of time. And so even though what you're saying is true, Spickspan, I just think it's like Perfect Image and many others. A lot of people are like, I'm not interested in the PS6 or like, you know, I'm once there's no more physical games, I'm not interested in buying their games. It's like, well, we don't know what the games are going to be though. You know? And that's kind of the problem. Saying, but I got to do it live. Hashtag Friday mode, win or lose. You have to respect of showing up. I don't know. I'll think about it, Jedi. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. God, I haven't played Battlefront 2 in years, though, man. Probably will get my ass whooped. Just 1v1. Oh, you're saying no, he meant level as in he's part of the highest paying monthly tier. Oh, okay. Yeah, so my bad. Yeah, no, you're right. There are levels. I did decide to name it the MBG family because that's how I view this community as family, you know? Family. We're Stephen Leon. Um, and yeah, there's a $10 tier and there's a $20 tier, but I made those tiers just as extras. If you want to give a little bit more each month, you know, to support what I do, the option's there to do that. I thought you were talking about like the amount of time, like with the different member badges and whatnot. You're welcome, Michael. Michael, for you, I'll make a $100 tier. Yeah, I'll make like $100 tier. Whoever's there, I'll just give them special shout outs. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. I used to try to. I'm sure you guys remember. I used to have like the scroll where it would have the name of every member. But ever since I introduced member gifting, it's impossible to keep up with that. Hold on. Yeah, next week is the MBG turning in the Vin Diesel family. Next week is the state of play for Phantom Blade Zero. I'm not gonna be able to watch it live, but I'm gonna check it out the next day. But yeah, I don't know if PlayStation's if they're gonna be in any kind of trouble. I think it's they're too insulated right now, and I just think that there's a lot of people I don't know, man. Like I just think it's super easy. Truly. You know, I don't think there's anything. I think it's super easy to make the decision now. I don't want a PlayStation 6. I don't want a PlayStation handheld. I don't want anything next gen from PlayStation. It's super easy to do that now because it's not real. None of it's real. PS6 hasn't been announced. Handheld hasn't been announced. There's no next gen games announced. There's none. So it's like, I don't know. I think that I'm more interested in hearing from people when it comes to the PlayStation 6 at this point in time. I'm saying I would be more interested in hearing from people when it's like, let's have Sony reveal the PS6 and let's see how people respond when Venom, Astrobot 2, a new Uncharted, Fizzin is shown off, GT8, probably, if I had to assume, maybe something with From Software. I don't know if Sony's going to pursue anything with them or not. But you also figure the God of War collection or remakes, sorry, they show that off. I mean, it's just like, it's just too easy to say to people, you know, to just say on the internet right now, like to type a comment and be like, yeah, I don't care. Nobody's buying $1,000 PS6. Like, yeah, guess what? There is no PS6 doesn't exist right now. And the price, I mean, look, the price, obviously we're projecting the price, or we're predicting this price because it's the best we have. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Spider-Man 3. No, we gotta see. We gotta see what cards Sony's planning on playing. I mean, you're saying sheep will continue to be sheep. I mean, I suppose. I mean, yeah, like that's the thing. Is like, I saw that there was this one comment that I saw. It was kind of interesting. They were like, well, no hardcore gamer, or no core gamer, I should say, is going to pay $1,000 for a PS6 without a disc drive. And I'm like, there's two things. Well, hold on. That was the first part. The second part was they said certainly no casual gamer is paying $1,000 for any console ever. And it's like, well, here's the thing. When it comes to the core gamer, we don't know that the PS6 is going to be $1,000. So what if it's cheaper? I'm not expecting it to be cheaper, but I'm just saying, like, let's just say Sony understands that we can't sell $1,000 PS6, and they're like, it'll be $700, $750 or something like that, which is still expensive. How much does that change the core gamer's perspective when the price is lower than what you expected it to be? And then the second thing is, like, what if they do announce a disc drive for PS5 and PS4 games? So, like, what I'm saying is the two things that this person was highlighting as, like, nobody's buying a PS6. It's like, dude, you don't know what Sony's doing with either of these things. And then the most important thing that they didn't mention is, like, you don't know the games either. It's like, I'm just saying, man, I'm not trying to come off as like Sony's going to blow everybody away. It's going to be incredible. I'm not trying to do. I'm just saying that, like, it's easy when there's nothing in front of you right now. Because look at Wolverine. Look at GTA 6. Look at all the games that are coming out this holiday season. It's like, it's going to continue to be like this. And that's what I think people are not really being honest with themselves about. You know? They're not being honest with themselves in that, like, yeah, create your cutoff date. This is my cutoff. Sure, and that's fine, but it's like, it's easy to worry about it then. Because you creating that cutoff date for yourself, you're like, well, at least I'm still going to be able to partake in all this. And to be fair, Sony set it up that way. I'm not blaming anybody for creating that cutoff date. Sony literally set it up that way. They're like, yeah, we're cutting off January 2028. And I think some people are going to be true to it. I think there are some people where once that cutoff happens, they're done. But I think the vast majority of people are kind of low key somewhere deep in their mind, hoping like something will change by the time there's a lot of time for things to happen. That's what the next Portal 2 will be for. Entry-level play, PS6 through the cloud, then handheld PS6 at the highest price. I mean, maybe. Pragmatic Cat, you're saying maybe the price will be high, but it will go down as the generation goes on, like generation prior to PS5. Yeah, it's difficult to say right now. But I don't know, man. I just think, you see people right now and the way they're reacting to like GTA 6. Oh, GTA 6 is digital only. GTA 6 Netflix, exclusive reveal. It's like, no, this gen hasn't got. Well, the only way the price would go down next gen is if the RAM crisis and the component crisis, if there was a big shift, which could happen. It's, from what I've looked into, this is basically what has to happen. The mass investment that's currently taking place with data centers has to stop. And there's a possibility it could stop if apparently a lot of these data centers are running into a lot of problems. They're running into a lot of problems and things are just happening to stop the production of them. And, it's one of these things where it's like, it's all great down on paper, but once you actually try to, apparently people are starting to protest them. Like when people find out that there's a data center that's going to be built in your town, like they're like aggressively protesting them, and it's actually like working. I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe there is a chance that the data center hype is going to die. And if it does, the whole component situation will be alleviated. And when that happens, prices are going to go down. I know there's this whole idea of like, no, they want to keep the prices high. And it's like, trust me, we're reaching levels where no, they don't, because people are going to stop buying. There's a threshold, and we're basically crossing it now. But if that doesn't happen, then the prices are, they're not going to go down. But what I was trying to say about GTA is like, I think like right now, there's a lot of people, or at least a fair amount. Again, a lot of people on the internet, they're like, yeah, I'm not buying GTA. Like, fuck GTA. It's like, yeah, it's easy to say that when you haven't seen it. Like, let's talk after the game is shown. And I just think that's even maybe you're still not sold on it. Okay, let's go to the launch then. And it's just like one of these things where it's like, I'm not saying people are being dishonest. I don't think anybody's being dishonest. I just think people don't want to admit the truth, though. Like the wider truth, not your truth individually, just the wider truth. They don't want to admit it because they're afraid that if they admit it, it's defeat, it's acceptance. It's like, it's not. You're just acknowledging the reality. The truth of the matter is, like, nothing's stopping any of this. Nothing. You know? There's nothing that's going to stop these companies from being successful. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because you may be a customer. I may be a customer. And a lot of the people you see expressing their frustration and their ire are also customers. Unfortunately, you are the smallest group of customer that these companies have turned to you, and they've turned to everybody else, and they said, we don't need you. We're okay without you. You can go now if you want. And that's why I feel like a lot of the things I see people typing in replies and on comment sections, it's like you are literally talking to a wall. You are typing to a wall. You are typing into the void, into the ether. And you can do whatever you want. But I'm just a little bit surprised that more people haven't, collectively. Now, granted, maybe it's because there's not a whole lot going on right now. But I just think we're seeing the revelation in front of us. And that revelation is everybody's going to talk. Because everybody can talk. People can talk anonymously. Say whatever you want. The only question that matters, though, is, are you buying it? Are you playing it? And I think it's more than obvious. Like, yeah, the overwhelming majority of people are buying and playing. So talk away, comment away, protest away. Again, I don't fault anybody for doing it, but it's like, did you see the stats that just came out, by the way? The stats that just came out for GTA 6, where according to an analytics firm, 88% of the pre-orders for GTA 6, 88% are the $100 version. And I'm like, now, I hate to be so cynical, but it's like, now I get why people were like, how's the fight going, bro? I mean, god damn, man. Like, 88%? Oh, remember when we had that rumor that said GTA 6 is going to be $150? And I said, why do I feel like it would still sell at $150? $100 version is the full game. It is, but like, people accept it. People accept it. That's the thing, man. What comes in the $100 version? Well, there's like certain shops and cosmetics. I think the shops in particular is why people see it as the full thing. Like, if you don't get that version, you don't have access to those shops. You'll like literally be locked out. What I don't understand, we were taught that every business has a goal of expanding their customer base. They seem to be fine with losing customers, which goes against traditional business models. Well, my theory, as I've stated a few times, but I'll continue to reiterate, is I think Sony's okay. I think Sony, here's what I think they're doing. I think they're going to try to maintain their core customer base as well as they can. But they have accepted that due to certain decisions they're making and also some circumstances outside of their control, they're probably going to lose some people. You know, I think they've accepted that. They're going to try to mitigate how much of that loss occurs. But I think that they have a backup plan. And the backup plan is what I've alluded to a few times, which is like, we're going to expand. You know, like think about it. Like, oh, you know, you're halfway through the PS6 generation. The PS6 is selling like shit and nobody's buying it. And, you know, everybody's who's interested in PS5 exclusives, you know, I'm putting it in quotes because like I'm assuming they'll be cross-gen. They're playing on the PS5 or the PS5 Pro. Sony's failing to effectively move the masses over to the PS6. And this is unprecedented. The last time this happened was with the PS3, and that was because of competition. The reason now is not like, so the PS5 is their competition. Why aren't people moving over? They're happy on PS5. Oh. Can we cut off the PS5? No, that's where we're making most of our money. Oh. So I think if something like that happens, their goal ultimately is like, or their plan, I should say, is like, okay, well, do what Microsoft is doing. Let's put PS Plus everywhere. Cloud streaming everywhere. Let's take the PlayStation Store and move it. Oh, there's some God of War info on Gaming Leaks? Oh, shit, okay. I'll go check that out. Perfect image with the $2 chat. You're saying no one is seeing that Google Stadia is being replicated across the gaming industry. Will be cloud streaming games. Believe it, but I could be wrong. No, I believe you. And that's what I think the play is. I think the play is like maintain as many hardcore users as you can. And this is why Microsoft is doing what they're doing. It all makes sense now. Like, well, why is Microsoft reverting back to doubling down on the console and exclusives for the console? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, this is why. This is why. Because they're like, yeah, we're going to have other business models that's going to be our way to, you know, to reach them. Pragmatic Cat, a member for 48 months. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying, MBG, I have an idea for a horror movie. It's called Ghost Cop. It's about a dead cop who can go where no other cop can and snitches on everyone. I like the idea. I get this feeling, Pragmatic Cat, that probably already exists. Have you like looked into that? It's a good idea, though. Snitches on everyone. Well, but for Ghost, how does Ghost Cop communicate, though? Pragmatic Cat. So, like, Ghost Cop can go everywhere and see all these things and know what's going on, but how does he communicate that to the precinct, to the law? Okay, so quick couple things. One, we can do the one we want on a members only thing. MBG family, only just for fun. Two, my gut is correct on this. They're going to go full swing with the PS6 Pro for GTA 6. Did you mean to type PS5 Pro, or did you actually mean are you telegraphing a PS6 Pro? And yeah, Jedi, so you're saying you want to do the 1v1 in it for like a members stream. And you're saying Battlefront 2, which platform? Steam, PlayStation? Somebody would probably gift me Battlefront 2 on Steam. Well, I mean, it's probably really cheap on Steam too. By the way, you can add me. I don't know if you're on Steam or not, Jedi Guy, but if you are, you can add me on there. Or I should probably drop my friend code. It's been a little bit. Irfan, what is this that you sent me? Saying I say this because they've already announced there's going to be 3 different models, which means that realistically, to genuinely compete against the Helix. So you did mean PS6, especially if Microsoft does physical. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Sony leveraging GTA 6 for the PS6. I could see it, but I don't know that. This is what I mean. We just know too little. I enjoy speculating about the PS6 and next gen. I as you can tell, I thoroughly enjoy it. I basically derail all other topics to talk about it. But I don't know, man. I think the major reality check is happening in the next 6 months. People aren't going to like it. but it's just they're gonna have to accept it. And by accept it, I don't mean like you like partake. I just mean like there's not much that can be done here. You know, like there's no movement that can really occur. Yeah, that makes sense. It's been a pro for the PS4 and 5, so they'll probably continue with the 6. You're good with whatever, Jedi? Yeah, let me hold on one second. Let me How do I find my friend code again? I still struggle with trying to navigate Steam a little bit. I'm still getting used to it. Friend code. Where is my friend code? Kind of clueless here. Dude, I get so annoyed because like I found these things numerous times and then like now I just can't. Hold on, I'm sure somebody. Chat, help me find my friend code again. Might be alone on this, but excited for the Ocarina of Time remake for this holiday than playing GTA 6 and Wolverine. And I think, you know, I think there are definitely people that feel that way. I don't think you're the only one. Ride or Die challenge MBG to a game in Roblox. Oh, hell no, bro. Friend in chat at the bottom. Yeah, this is weird. Like, I clicked on it and, like, add a friend. Oh, okay. I got it. I forgot that I had to click add a friend. Yeah, by the way, guys, for anybody in the chat, if you want to add me on Steam, I haven't been playing on there much at past couple days. I think I might try to get more time with the Gears beta. But here you go. Here's my Steam friend code. You can add me on there if you want. And Jedi Guy, you could add me on there too. Maybe we'll try to set up that thing you're talking about. Battlefront 2. Guys, it's been so long since I played Battlefront 2. Is there still like a healthy player base for that game? Battlefront 2? All right. Let me go check something here. You were telling me that there is something on gaming leaks and rumors. Oh, okay, hold on. Spoiler from MP First. It seems blank will indeed be in God of War Lao Fei. Oh, okay. It's a slight spoiler, but like I don't count this as a spoiler. Like, of course he's gonna be in God of War Lao Fei. They're just confirming that Tyr is gonna be in God of War Lao Fei. Oh yeah, and by the way, RU46 N2 Ray in the chat. He's dropping the PO box number. If you guys want to send anything over, and Ray, I saw that you said you sent something out too, and you can join the MBG Discord if you want. The Discord is not locked behind members or anything like that, so everybody's welcome to join. I just ask you to be respectful and be polite. Let me see. What is this? This is Deborah Ann Wall.
My very first day on set for Lao Fei, we were doing a scene, and they handed me a prop, and unbeknownst to me, this was a very famous prop that they had used on The Last of Us. Was it a hockey stick or a baseball bat?
Oh my God!
Some sort of sporting equipment, and
Ain't no way.
and they gave it to me, and I was supposed to use it like an axe. And I broke it.
Whoa! Yeah! Yeah!
She swung it so hard, it cracked, and it echoed throughout the volume. And we were like, hot damn, let's go.
Bro. They gave her the golf club, And she broke it. That's crazy. Okay, Ray. Thank you, man. Monday? All right. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. So yeah, it says here about 4 months ago we wrote that the God of War spin-off game starring Kratos' wife, Lao Fei, will feature multiple mythologies and the return of Tyr, the Norse mythology's God of War. While the trailer reveal for Lao Fei doesn't mention or hint at Tyr in any capacity, it seems the character's involvement has just been confirmed. Uh, Diogo Morgado, Tyr's voice actor in the Portuguese voiceover track, reacted to the Lao Fei gameplay on his YouTube channel. In the video, around the 54-minute and 53-second mark, he was asked if he will appear in Lao Fei as well. The voice actor laughed and said, quote, "If you only knew how restrictive an NDA is," but he added, "once the state of play is over, I'll tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 just how hard I had to bite my tongue to not say anything," end quote. Once the state of play is over. So I guess he was hold on, let me check the videos. He was reacting to the last state of play. Okay, yeah. So this is a little bit old. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think it's. I mean, I guess it. Yeah, I guess it should be labeled a spoiler, technically, but I don't know. I don't think it's much of a spoiler, to be honest. Jaime G, go look at James Stevenson, head of Insomniac Games' most recent tweet. I think game devs will go back to never talking to fans again, thanks to the negativity and harassment. James Stevenson? Oh yeah, he hold on, I'll go check. James Stevenson. He said, "I think the wild way this algorithm amplifies and forces negativity upon you has me reconsidering my philosophy on telling devs to look or post here. It's a relentless onslaught that I cannot believe is good for anyone's mental health, nor representative." I agree completely. Listen, man, I I've been on the internet for a long time now. You know, I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. I've been on Twitter for 10 years as well. I made my Twitter account in 2016 as well. Twitter has done severe damage to my mental health. Severe. YouTube has done damage to my mental health too. They've both done damage at different levels, but the thing about Twitter and where it is now, like, so people, I'll just say this. I've been getting shit. People have been calling me out or some shit, or they've been like pointing out that I post basic engagement driven questions. They call it engagement bait, but it's not bait. I'm literally just asking basic questions. There's no bait. I'm not baiting anybody. You don't have to find, nobody has to answer shit. But I ask questions and I do so to get replies. You know, and that's how I've decided to use my Twitter. And the reason I've chosen to do that is because fuck Twitter and fuck the cesspool that is, I would say, certainly not everybody, but a lot of people on that website where it's like you just think you can talk to people however you want. And I think it's crazy, not crazy, but it's like to the people who are like, number one, I don't know why anybody would have a problem with me using my Twitter that way. Like, cry harder, you know? Like like they're clearly just jealous that like I just have to post a question asking whether or not people are interested in buying the PS6 or if they would buy a PS6 for $600 and get 1,000 replies. You know? Like, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing anything wrong. But yet people will come after me and treat it like I'm the one making Twitter a worse space. No, I'm not. I'm asking questions. I'm literally asking questions. And you know why I'm asking questions? Because when I actually try to engage with Twitter the right way, where it's like I'm going to use this as a platform to put my voice out there and give my thoughts and my opinions on stuff, people shit down my throat aggressively. It's like, yeah, no thank you. I don't need that. And Corey, the legend Landiga, comes in and he drops 5 more member gifts for you guys. Blowing past the 50 mark, taking us to 55.
I'm no hero.
Boss was in here a little bit earlier.
Never was. Never will be.
I don't know if he's coming back, though, bro. That's what Blue Sky's for? Not necessarily. I mean, I suppose. And sure, maybe it's like, oh, I don't have thick enough skin, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of like treating. I'm not a fan of normalizing being awful to people. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Cheese. It's just, you're not doing it. I'm just saying, like, that's what's been normalized on Twitter. And I get it. It's like, I can't change it. So I have to decide, like, either, yeah, get tougher skin and just accept it and deal with it, or don't partake. And so I've chosen the middle ground where it's like, I'm not really engaging with Twitter in a meaningful way anymore. I will post questions and, you know, make a couple bucks here and there based off of whatever engagement I get. And, you know, I don't mind people, you know, if people want to engage with it, they can. If not, they can, you know, ignore me or block me or unfollow me or whatever. But that's it. But I can't deal with Twitter anymore because it's just like, it's only hurt my mental health. And, you know, YouTube, like I said, YouTube has hurt my mental health too for different reasons. You know, I get called out by YouTubers and stuff and clipped and whatnot. And I don't know, I guess I've gotten more used to that. And I don't really mind that as much anymore as I used to. But I don't know, man, there's something about Twitter where it's like, Jesus. Like the shit people do and say, it's like, this place is awful. This is like hell. This is the hell of the internet, bro. I know. I probably will soon. I probably will actually shut it down soon. Jeez. Twitter announced that they're updating their... I don't know how it's going to work. Like, they're overhauling their monetization program. And they're not really being clear, in my opinion, of what they're changing. But one of the things I do know is they're asking people, you have to reapply now. So they're retiring the current system and you have to reapply to their new system. And it seems like they're going to filter a lot of people out. And what I can't tell, because the thing that they keep focusing on Twitter, they're like, we want to reward original content. And I don't like they're not really, they are pretty clear in like what they don't want. And it seems like one of the things, it seems like a big problem that Twitter's been facing, because I read through the whole thing, and one of the major things they were emphasizing is like, you can't, I guess Twitter has this problem where people are like reposting other people's content and stealing people's content or whatever, but like treating it like their own. And I think people have kind of been getting away with that. And they've been getting paid for it. And I think Twitter's like cracking down on that. I don't know if what I do will continue to be a thing or not. Reapply with more personal info, probably. MEG, like, I'm serious. Some people already have a tough time in real life or stress, and to come to places like Twitter and other platforms to share passion, they get depressed and low morale. It's losers, man. I mean, yeah, and I experience that sometimes, you know, like I I struggle with it myself because it's just like I used to have more mental fortitude. I used to have thicker skin. And I don't know, I've changed a bit over the years. You know, I've gone through some different stuff and it's, you know, it's changed my outlook on things and me on like a more personal level. And so the way I feel, you know, in response to things that you know, willingly engage with, I suppose. Yeah, it's a lot, man. And I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, there's a lot of angry, miserable, hateful, cynical people that they just, you know, they 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 need to bring people down to their level to feel okay. And you know, it's like the worst place to be, man. To get to that point where it's like the only way I can feel okay is if I bring others down with me. But I get it to an extent though. Like I'm cynical too. You know, I understand sometimes where people are coming from, but you never take the internet seriously. I mean, gee, that's why it's easier to cope with. I know, and I made it hard for myself. You know, because the problem it's a good thing and you know it's a double edged sword. I think the problem is you know I've put myself out here and there's nothing. I have no layers of protection. You know what I mean? Like if that makes sense. Like I don't have a persona. There isn't an act. Like I'm not. This isn't an over exaggerated version of myself. Um, not a character, and I think that kind of has caused a little bit of a problem for me, where it means that when people go after me for whatever reason it might be, it is me they're going after. You know, it is the equivalent as if like, you know, like I mean I don't take it this way all the time, but sometimes it feels like when people say shit about me, it's like, like I hope you would be willing to say this to my face in real life because that, you know, like that's what it is to me. Like there isn't some kind of act, you know, like this isn't. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Have I ever given serious consideration to Twitch? I have, but like the thing that's stopping me from doing multi streaming with Twitch is the way that their system works, where they have a strange way of doing it. At least to me, it's strange because YouTube doesn't do it this way. They have a weird split. So like you have to have a certain amount of paying subscribers and you have to maintain that threshold to get a 70-30 split. Because the way it works right now on YouTube is there's a 70-30 split, but the only way you can get the 70-30 split on Twitch is you have to reach that threshold and maintain it. And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, like that makes me very nervous because like if I were to start sending people here to Twitch and then, you know, if they want to donate there or if they want to subscribe there, for at least I don't know how long it could be. It could be a month, it could be multiple months, but either way it could be problematic. I'm going to be intentionally making less money. And I'm not necessarily in a great position where it's like, you know, I don't know that I could afford to burn that, you know, in the name of trying to get bigger on Twitch. It would depend on the time frame. If it's like a 1 month or 2 months, maybe. But if it could go on for like 6 months or longer, it's like, yeah, I don't know about that. But I don't know. One last thing. Do you think developers should completely stop interacting with fans due to this? Because you can't escape it anymore. Probably. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this is why there's going to be like a major crackdown on the internet eventually. You know, we've seen it happen everywhere in real life. It's going to happen on the internet. You used to use Twitter and share links to your YouTube videos, but you don't anymore. You should go back to doing that. It could help your channel grow. Don't use this shitty app in any other way. You know what, Irfan? The reason why I stopped doing that is because it didn't matter. I was shocked. Like I have, I think 84,000 followers on Twitter. And this is proof that YouTube and Twitter are completely different. Like there's no overlap. there is some overlap in like if I want to create content and show people's tweets, there is that overlap. But like, dude, I stopped posting links to my YouTube stuff on Twitter because when I would check the data, it was like 0.01% of people, 0.01% of your traffic came from Twitter. And I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, yeah, and it's just not worth it because then I would have to deal with all the replies. People would reply on my tweets for my videos, but they wouldn't actually click on the videos or watch them. But they got something to say, and I'm like, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope with this new monetization that Twitter's doing, I hope I get disqualified from it. Because I'm going to be honest, like I'm looking for an out. It's like, well, there it is. Like, dude, I was so close to leaving Twitter so many times, and they're like, yeah, we'll monetize it now. I'm like, oh, okay, shit, I got 80,000 followers. Like, I should see if I can make a couple bucks here. Who wouldn't do that, you know? But if they're like, yeah, no, we're changing it now, and you can't be part of it, I'm like, thank you. Like, I'd be grateful at this point. Like, to be honest, I'm thinking about not even trying to reapply for it. Because I'm just like, this sucks, dude. Like, it fucking sucks. And it's like funny. I saw some people, they were like celebrating. They're like, oh, people like MBG and people who do engagement bait. Yeah, because that's what it's fucking bait. Yeah, that's what it is. Sorry, people just use terms and they're like, these grifters, these gaming grifters out here, man. Twitter's going to be a better place without them. It's like, bro, I'm pretty sure you guys are talking about yourselves. Take a look at my Twitter. Take a good look at my Twitter and tell me what type of toxicity I'm facilitating by just asking basic questions. Go look at your Twitter. Go look at what you're engaged with. Let's judge that on the scale of toxicity. Think we know which one is more toxic. But I digress. All right. You tried to quit several times and even shut down your page altogether at one point, but you came back in. I actually shut it down for deletion, and your account will get deleted after 30 days. By week 3, I reactivated it. Looking back, probably should have just let it delete. You know, it feels strange in a way because it's like, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I appreciate the little bit of money I'm making from Twitter. It's easy money. I mean, it's truly easy money. Like, I didn't make it that way. They set it up that way. Like, Twitter told you, like, you're going to get paid based off of the amount of replies you get from other verified people. And I'm like, okay. Weird system, but okay. And Hellbound 1981. Another legend comes in and drops 5 more gifts, taking us to 60 on the day. Guys, we are, you know what? I'll actually update this to see if we can hit a third goal because we're actually within reach. We're 15 away from possibly hitting 75 today. Big day for members. Really appreciate that, Hellbound. Thank you, bro. But yeah, that's the thing is like, that's why I decided, yeah, I'm just going to ask questions on Twitter because, you know, it's not doing any harm. And if people want to answer and they want to engage, they're free to do so. And, you know, it's made me a little bit of money and I appreciate that money. But it's like, I'll be honest, like the money I make on Twitter, it's like, it's nowhere even remotely close to being justified where it's like this, I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't be here. I've always had this kind of fear, Irfan, where like it feels like Twitter's what keeps me connected to everything that's going on. And I've always had this fear of like, if I disconnect from that, I'm going to not be as informed and it's going to make my channel suffer. I think it's the opposite. I think me being on Twitter has made my channel suffer. You know, the amount of times that I come into streams and do content with just shit in my head from stuff I've seen, it's like, Yeah, it is something crazy, dude. It's like $5 to $10 every million impressions. Yeah, it's like I said, I appreciate. It's not like I haven't used the money I made from it. You know, it's a nice little bonus. Like the most amount of money I think I ever made from Twitter since they updated their monetization was like $200 or something in like 2 weeks. And that's, I mean, that's like, bro, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of impressions and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of replies. And it's like, yeah, $200, that's not nothing. But like, don't read those replies. Don't read those replies. Am I familiar with Marlin Gaming Nation? I've heard of him, yeah. I've heard of him. I'm not too familiar with his content, though, to be honest. Since you're not feeling well today, do you want to watch the 10-year anniversary video today or just wait? Let's save it, Irfan. I definitely don't want to watch it on a day where I'm not feeling great. I feel bad. I apologize that my energy levels are so low. I have been having a hard time this week. And, I'm not trying to complain about it too much or anything. I just, so you guys should know, people point out, they're like, oh, you feeling okay today, man? It's like, oh, could be doing better. Yeah, save it. I definitely would rather save it. I decided to be a watcher on these social media sites, see specific accounts, and get out. It's not worth, heck, even online gaming communities getting slurs for bad performance in matches. Oh, my God. It's bad, man. I think, yeah, people are angry. There's a lot of unrest, I think. Funny thing to do and enrage the haters is keep asking questions on X and turn replies off. There you go. I'm doing it for the love of the game. Ask questions and then turn replies off, bro. You guys are saying you don't like more. Well, I mean, I have no judgment. I can't even give you an opinion. Truthfully, I don't really watch many other content creators. One of my biggest problems is like I'm too easily influenced by stuff, good or bad. And I don't know. I used to operate differently earlier on in my channel's life because I was much more like I was ignorant. But you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. I was more focused on myself. I was like really focused on myself and my interests and my thoughts, and it was very like self-centered. And I think my channel benefited much more from that. I got to be honest. People I think really like that. Appreciate you as always, M. P.S. Don't forget to go back to your Discord today and look at the video clip that I dropped. That wasn't a cameo. That was straight from in-house on special request. Damn. We got somebody on the inside. We got somebody on the inside, bro. Thank you, man. Remember when our grandparents imagined how the future would look? Flying cars, developed society. Imagine their reaction seeing the true future. Yeah, the amount of men and women that died sacrificing for this. Well, at least there's still some people trying to honor it, Some people trying to do the right thing. Yeah, I mean, Irfan, that makes sense, bro. Like, I got into an argument, not an argument, but like, I saw something that pissed me off on Twitter literally yesterday. And it fucking really pissed me off. Because it's like, fuck you, man. Like, God, you're like these fucking pussy ass bitches. Can you feel it coming? Like, can you feel the sting coming out of me? I mean, dude, listen. It's true what they say. Everybody's going to talk. Or who was it that said it? Mike Tyson. Like, everybody's comfortable talking shit until they get punched in the face. And I'm not a violent person. I'm not. But it's just like, bro, literally over 50% of the people talking shit in any capacity, like these are the people that, when you see those videos that pop up on Twitter or whatever, or in other places of like two people get into a fight and it's like somebody just lands a fucking haymaker at their jaw and they just drop. Literally 50% of the people talking shit like that would be them in real life. And they know that, and that's why they do it behind the keyboard. You know? And I don't know. It's not worth it, but you know, that's the whole idea of the troll, you know, like I mean, here's the thing. Trolling, it's fundamentally cowardice. And it's just part of the game. But it's something that I just, you know, I will always look down upon because it's like, come on, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Violence left me after Concord. Damn, bro. Sorry if this topic is depressing. I just brought it up because I literally imagine how shit it must feel for devs to be proud of something and share what they want to be, what they are proud of and get shit on. Yeah, I mean, you got to be protective. And that's something I have failed personally. You know, I have not protected my mental health well enough. I've not protected myself well enough. You know, I said earlier, ignorance is bliss. I won't lie to you guys. One of the worst things that ever happened to me. And it just goes to show, like, I'm not saying I was innocent, but it's just like I was unaware. That's the word. I was unaware. One of the worst things that ever happened to me was, you know, so I was on YouTube in like 2016, 2017, and 2018, and I was covering Xbox, but I was a really small channel. I think I had less than like 8,000 subscribers, which to me, you know, I mean, compared to how things ended up going, it was pretty small, but I was content with that. And, you know, considering I came from nothing, having 0 subscribers, I'm like, fuck, 8,000 subscribers, that's huge for me. And I covered Xbox, but then it got to a point where I'm like, okay, this sucks. You know, like I don't know if I can keep covering this the way I am because it's going down the drain and I'm not enjoying it anymore. And a lot of people here are not enjoying it anymore. And then, you know, I took the chance. I was like, okay, let's go check PlayStation out. And it's like, holy shit, this is great. And, you know, that's when things started to go in a different direction. But one of the worst things that happened was, and I can't remember the exact time or date or like when it happened, but I remember like somebody was like, bro, did you see this video that, I mean, I don't know if it was Griffin Gaming or somebody. It probably was him, but I just remember somebody made me aware of like, yeah, this guy made a video on you. And I remember being so like shocked by that. Like, what? Now, at this time, I think I probably had like 40 or 50,000 subs. And I just remember truly being like, no way. Like, no way this is real, right? And then I went to go watch it, and it was. And I don't know, it just like changed me. You know, I kind of turned into a different person after that because I was, you know, I felt hurt. You know, if I'm just being honest, like I felt hurt. And the reason why I felt hurt was because it was like, I didn't do anything to anybody. And that's what perplexed me. And that's still to this day, like that's what has changed me. It is the fundamental, and I guess it's what's given me a cynical outlook on life because it's like, that's part of life, dude. It's like, it's not fair. Like you don't have to do anything wrong to have bad things happen to you. We don't live in a universe like that. And that was not my first experience in life. I've experienced that in life, in real life, numerous times. But on the internet, where I guess, and that was my false perception of the internet, is I thought the internet was a different type of place. Like it's not a complete reflection of real life. You know, things are a little bit more fair on the internet, or so I thought. And I just remember feeling so shocked when I saw that because, you know, it was fucking kind of nasty. You know, I was being kind of torn into. And I just, you know, it really threw me for a loop because I'm like, I didn't do anything to this guy. Like I didn't do anything to anybody. You know, like I'm not stirring up shit. I'm not doing any of that. And from that day forward, like, it just became a regular thing where, like, it would just happen more and more, and it would become a regular thing in multiple places with multiple people. And to this day, I still, you know, I guess I've gotten more used to it, but, like, I can't deny that there's this just basic fundamental question that I like refuse to accept the answer to. It's like, but I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I didn't do anything to you. I didn't do anything to you. I didn't do anything to you. I think the only person I've actually ever done something to is, oh no, it's Alex, because I tried to fucking clap back or whatever. And it was just a big joke anyway. So outside of that, though, it's like I've never, like, I don't know. I've never been on the attack, is what I'm trying to say. The worst thing you could say I've done is upset Xbox fanboys. I've never attacked Xbox fanboys, like, individually. I never went after people. I went after Microsoft. I would refer to the hardcore radical Xbox fanboys, and I could understand why they were upset. And I did accept. I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, you guys do not like what I have to say. But it's when people would start to go after me and really, like, try to take me down. I'm like, bro, I'm just covering PlayStation over here 90% of the time. The other 10%, I'm probably taking a couple shots at Xbox, the brand, and Microsoft, the corporation, and the executives involved. So I've always found myself a little bit, you know, I just can't accept the answer of, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just, you know, sure, you didn't do anything, but so what? I just hate that. I'm like, that's shit. Like, that's bullshit, you know? But, all right. Oh, thanks to him, I got to know you, MBG, and I'm now a member of your channel, not him. Well, yeah, I guess there is an upside to it. That's harder to recognize. Sometimes I'm completely blind to it. Stay off Twitch and Kick. It's the Wild West for conflict content. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I'm not interested in that stuff. I think that's another thing that bothers me to the core. Is like, I didn't used to look down upon it. I look down upon it because I've been dragged into it. But, like, I'm not a fan of that stuff. Like, literally, like, I don't, to me, that's not, I'm not saying anybody has to think what I'm doing here is more interesting. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've never been interested in the drama aspect of, like, you know, this content creator said this about that person and that. And it's like, this is weird. You know, like, to me, it feels weird. It's like, I'm just a regular guy playing games. You know, like, that's all I am. And I'm just talking to people on the internet about it. Those are the risks you take by having a public presence on the internet. You don't really have a way around it unless you quit YouTube, which I know is impossible. You say, so you either have to stop caring about it or let it ruin your day every day. I know. And that's where it causes me to reflect on myself, where it's like, the answer's pretty obvious. Just stop caring. And that's the problem I have, is like, I still continue to care. And I don't know, like, I can't, there are times where, like, I feel like I can't help it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel so much like a choice. It's just like, I don't want to care, but I do. And I don't know why that is. But, yeah. Oh, you were here since the Blue Box Theory blew up? As a Silent Hill fan, that got me really interested in your channel and stayed for what it is. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a good time. That was fun. We'll definitely reflect on that on the 10-year anniversary of my channel in a couple weeks. The internet has become more dangerous than ever nowadays. Scams and phishing. Yeah, that's true. If you're a fanboy of anything, you deserve to be attacked. It's like saying I attack irrational, obnoxious people. Same thing. No, I disagree. It's the internet, dude. You know, like it. What I'm trying to say is, like, just because somebody's a fanboy they don't deserve to be attacked. Like, to me, that's a crazy mentality to have. If somebody is a fanboy but also being an awful person and causing problems and being rude to others and you know, like, I'm saying we need to remove we should. I think the internet would be a much better place, just as the world would be, if we removed the labels that are placed upon people and just judge the people for what they're saying and doing. Like, is this person being an awful human being and doing things to hurt others? Or is it that they have a specific label or somebody has decided that I'm telling you that this person is doing something wrong? And we'll just use these different words and labels and give them certain meanings to create the illusion that this person is doing harm when in reality they're not actually doing any harm. Unfortunately, that happens. I mean, that's just part of life. People do that all the time. You know? I think there are people who are willing to do that. I think there are good people who are willing to just, I'm not going to judge the person on anything other than what they're saying and what they're doing and, you know, their words and their actions. Not their label, not their name, not what others have said, but what they're doing. And things are very strange these days, man. Like, things have been we've been on a strange track for years, and it's only getting stranger. I'm lucky since I'm at work, but you shouldn't feel bad, MBG. You're literally helping them keep their lights on, and they would be shit out of luck because they aren't creative enough to make their own content. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I try not to be overly judgmental. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with reactionary content. I don't know, man. I just think about myself, and I don't view myself, I don't have like this giant ego of like, the world would be a better place if everybody did what I did or saw things the way I saw things. It's not that, but it's just, there are just some things I look at and I'm like, how is this accepted? You know, I like a wider level. And this is where I do feel like when we look at society as a whole in 2026, like, we've definitely regressed. In some areas we've progressed, but in a lot of areas we've regressed as a collective, where it's like we are too tolerant of some things. And you know what they say, like, you deserve what you tolerate. And I think that, you know, there's like the whole idea of like free speech and all that. I'm like, yeah, but I just think there are too many people who have taken advantage of certain freedoms. And it's like, what is your intent here? Because the only thing that ultimately matters is intent. What is your intention? And if you are going to judge somebody, you should do so based off of their intention. Not all the time, you know, like, of course there are times, you know, where somebody could state this is my intention and then go on to do and say something that's the polar opposite, and like, but your actions and words seem to indicate the opposite. So there has to be some level of discretion that's used there, but I'm just saying, it's like, it's not difficult to identify people's intentions, you know, in the year 2026 on the internet. And I don't know. I guess I just find myself frequently perplexed at what I see. And like, there are times where you see people, the misery loves company. And you see people, it's like, how does this even work? But it does. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it is, I'm just kind of going totally off the track now, but it's just something that I think if you're on the internet, and if you guys are here right now, I'm assuming, you know, you're all on the internet somewhat frequently. Internet's always been dangerous, just people are more stupid now. I mean, fuck. That's a dangerous combination. Yeah. Make the danger even more dangerous. But yeah, man, I don't know. My greatest downfall, perhaps, is that I've never been able to get myself, and maybe I'll overcome this. Not yet, but hopefully soon, eventually. My greatest downfall is I've never gotten to a point where I'm able to just say, I don't care. you know? I can't, like, I've tried lying to myself. And that's the thing is, like, I've tried to get to a point where it's like, dude, stop. Like, I don't care. Who gives a shit, you know? Like, but it's like, no, give it a day or two. But what about the second or third time you come across something? And then there's just like this kind of like, you know, there's this like sudden zap of like, you know, I actually am pissed off at this. I actually do have a fucking problem with this. But the internet is a peculiar place where it's like, what can you do? What can you do? Thank you, Irfan. Yeah, I'll look forward to that. If someone is being obnoxious and insulting towards you, they deserve a response. I should have worded it better. Well, yeah, and that's fair. Like, I think sometimes too, and this is a very common thing that happens, like people get grouped up, you know, and it's like, you know, you start to, again, it's the labels. It's the labels of things. Like, for example, something that I've come across many, many times is like, and man, it's the amount of times it's like, this is crazy. MBG, the name MBG, it's associated with PlayStation fanboyism. Okay. PlayStation fanboyism is, at least on the internet, has been deemed like you're subhuman if you're a PlayStation fanboy. You don't deserve respect. You don't deserve to be treated like a normal person. You know, and it's not just PlayStation fanboyism. I think that's probably how it is for all fanboyism, but I'm just saying based off of my personal experience, what I've kind of been, you know, have gone through. And I've never, like, I have always had a little bit of a problem with that, but the thing that would shock me the most, and this is the thing that would shock me the most, is it's like every time I would defend myself, it didn't matter. It's like, no, you like understand you have a label on you. What you say, what you do, explanations, none of that matters. All that matters is your label. People are not interested enough to hear what you have to say. They don't want to hear your side of it. They don't want to. And, you know, I experienced this again yesterday where the whole reason I got pissed off of this specific Twitter encounter was because I tweeted out something about Wolverine, you know, and it was this random dude who's like a hardcore PlayStation fanboy. He took like a 3-second clip of me saying, I'm done. I don't give a shit about Wolverine. You know, from I guess from a stream from like a month and a half ago. And he was like, oh, why is he even talking about this? I thought you were done. And then that's all. And then people were just flooding me. You're like, why are you talking about Wolverine? I thought you were done, bro. You fucking hypocrite. Right? And it's like, I told you guys, yeah, you damn grifter. I responded to this guy, though, and I told him to get Sony's balls out of his mouth or something like that. I said something totally out of pocket because it's just like, I'm pissed. It's like, look at you. Like, you're gonna talk to me about dignity? Look at your fucking feed, you piece of shit. You know, it's like your feed is literally doing nothing but shitting on Xbox and propping up everything, you know, like literally sucking off Sony, dude. It's like you're gonna talk to me about dignity? I don't think so. But what gets me, and here's the thing, somebody left this reply, and this one just kind of stuck with me a little bit because I'm like, oh my fucking God, bro. Like, okay. It's fine. Like, this person left a reply, and I the only reason I read it is because I try to be receptive to people who are being polite. You know? I got people out here calling me all different types of words, but this one person actually typed a response, and they were like, no offense. You know? Like, I'm not trying to offend you, but you were doing the same thing this entire generation, were you not? Basically saying, like, you know, you had Sony's balls in your mouth or whatever this whole gen. And then you cashed in on the recent drama, and now you're going back. And I'm like, I tried to respond to this guy respectfully, and I'm like, listen, man, that's fine. When people start with no offense, but I'm going to severely offend you right now. Here's the thing, though. It's like I responded to this guy, and I had to tell him, I'm like, bro, please understand this. It's not about, like, this guy's a bigger fanboy than I am or something like that. The problem is that I'll just fucking read it to you. I said it's always the same thing. Random, out of context clips from people looking to start shit. I said what makes this particular clip so bad is that I acknowledged this very thing in like 3 separate streams. I even said I'm holding the L, and I owned up to it. But you don't see it anywhere. And here's the great revelation, guys. This is the whole point of this exercise and me talking about this. The revelation is right there. It is the ugliest, most unsettling truth that I reject, or at least it evokes anger because I reject it, because I'm like, this isn't right. I don't expect everything to be right, but this is like egregiously wrong. And I know I'm projecting greater emotion because it's me and I'm involved, and who really gives a shit at the end of the day. But I notice it's something that happens universally. And it's that, listen, man, do you not understand that you came out, you acknowledged this side of it. You acknowledged the side of like, doesn't this make you a hypocrite? Doesn't this make you a grifter or a liar? Performative? All this shit. I acknowledge this, and I said, yeah, I'm going to take the L. That's the whole thing, right? Like, I'm taking the L. I fucked up, at least in this regard, in this one specific area that everybody's calling me out for. Yeah, and I own up to that. And it's fine. I get it. And you realize, no. Like MBG, you still don't get it. Like, we're trying to fuck you up. Like, we're not looking for you to actually do the right thing. Like, because we don't give a shit. We just want to fuck you up and cause problems for you. And I have to, like, that honestly is where it's like I see a side of humanity and the world that turns me completely callous. Where it's like, maybe it's my reptilian brain, but it's like, that's a threat to me. Like, in so many words, upon so many layers, it's like, let's boil this down. What are you really trying to say to me? On a human, like, from, one human being to another, what are you really trying to say? What you're trying to say is, I don't like you and I want to hurt you. That's what you're saying. And my response, my like more primal, again, reptilian brain response is like, this is upsetting me because I don't like everybody else. I don't like to be attacked. I don't want to be attacked. And I don't want to fight. Certainly. If I don't have to. And, I've learned a lot about myself, and I learned, like, I'm an extremely passive person, man. Like, I'm a passive person to a degree where it's like, be careful, don't become a doormat. And that's something I've learned about myself that I kind of don't like, but it's like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be a certain way because it's like, I know people like when they see that version of me come out, and it comes out sometimes. And sometimes, most recently, it's like I literally directed it towards Sony. It's like, I'm going to fucking fight this company, bro. I'm going to go on the attack. But it's like, no offense, but I hate you and everything you stand for. Yeah. But that's the thing is, it's just like, I can't maintain that even towards other people. Like, even if there have been times, dude, where I went on the attack And I reversed it on people. It's only happened a couple of times, but I feel immediately bad for doing that. Like, maybe I am too soft, bro, but like there were times where I felt attacked and I fucking turned it around on somebody and they were they were clearly upset. And I'm like, and I literally, like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like this, I don't want to hurt people in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's not what I want to do. That's the last thing I want to do. Like, I just want to live and just do my thing. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And I guess I'm just kind of shocked, even still today, man, where it's like, I've gone to great lengths throughout the years, I've gone to great lengths to not bother anybody, to just mind most of the time, like mind my own business. And I'm not trying to play the victim here, to be clear. Like, I know people can't stand it. I'm not a victim. I'm just saying, like, I've learned. I'm somebody who became aware and learned things and realized, like, damn, man, nobody's safe out here. Nobody's safe out here. You can mind your own business. You can do whatever you want. What is this, Cheese? He's got the sirens out. What if they deserve it? Well, that's the thing, Perfect Image, is like, I don't know. Like, when I'm at my angriest, yeah, I feel like I can be judge, jury, and executioner. When I'm at my angriest, it's like, I'm going to tell you what you fucking deserve. And there's just some shit that's so wrong, so bad, that, like, yeah, we can all say what this person deserves. And I'm talking, like, some of the worst shit. The shit we're not even talking about, like, Twitter. We're talking about real life shit. But generally speaking, it's like, I don't care what you deserve. I'm not God. Like, live how you want to live. Just don't hurt people and destroy property and destroy shit. Like, just live how you want to live. And if you could just avoid, and I'll let God be the judge. You know what I mean? I'll let God be the judge. You saw something from the internet that messed you up too. I saw something yesterday that messed me up. I'm not talking about it. It was like a 911 call or something. I'm like, I'm not. What is this fucking world, bro? Like, it just makes me want to cry. Hold on. I'm trying to see what. Cheese, are you saying Perfect World's investment firm's research meeting leak about Neverness to Everness, NTE, poaching devs from Kuro Games? Civil war over release timing, analysis of competitors' gotchas, censorship. Oh, Jesus. This nonsense, man. Fucking nonsense. The games we play. Ghetto God, I think that's it. Yeah. Which is shocking. If we're thinking of the same thing, that's actually shocking to me that you, I guess maybe it was trending or something. I don't know, but it's like, oh my God. Saying he's right, MBG, you're like that. PlayStation fanboys, the reason Kid Smooth went to PC, he always would complain about toxicity around Xbox. Colt used to cry about this too. Well, what are you referring to? Why me? Oh, you're saying it's just the PlayStation hate is stronger than ever because of the times. Yeah, and I've owned up to that too. Where, like, the thing that I'm bitching about, I've contributed to, and I've apologized for it in the sense of, like, I didn't realize. Again, it's the awareness. Where, like, I didn't understand that when I would like make my content and be like the Xbox fanboys, I wasn't like name dropping people or calling individual people out, but it's like I was making it harder for people who did want to really be very much enthusiastic about Xbox. I was making their lives harder. And it's like I said, it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That was not my intention. And I wasn't trying to like upset anybody, like on an individual level. I wasn't trying to make anybody's life harder, you know? And I'm still not. It's not what I'm about. And that's the thing. I just genuinely wasn't aware. But once I became aware, that's kind of where I was like, yeah, okay. I could see how that could have caused the problem for some people. But yeah, it's like Ghetto God. It's fucking unbelievable, man. Like, you just, you learn about some shit and you hear about some shit and you don't even have words. It makes me feel panicked, And this is another reason why it's like I need to take a break from the internet because talking about more real life shit, it's like you come across certain things and you're like, I don't know, you read about them, you watch stuff, and it makes my hands start to get sweaty and I start to feel my heart rate go up and the adrenaline dumping, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this, man. Like, freaks me out. But yeah, don't look it up. Don't look it up. You called out Colt multiple times reading his Twitter and reacting to his videos. Well, okay, that's true. In like the last 12 months. Sure. You're right about that. But to be fair though, I wasn't going crazy or anything. Like I don't know. I think I was pretty respectful. Disagreeing maybe, but no, you're not wrong in that, like, in the last 12 months, I've basically just kind of opened myself up to like, okay, yeah, I who cares at this point, But but it's like I don't really do it because it's just like I'll be honest, man, like I'm not interested enough in what people have to say about these things. The only time I notice that I find myself interested, and it's just a natural reaction, is like if I'm brought up, if I'm brought into it, then it's like, well, why am I being brought into it? But when it comes to like, people doing their own thing, like I don't know. I don't really hold on to anybody's opinion about something that strongly or that tightly. Well, I appreciate that, Stock Law. The elite have made gaming more expensive to force the poorer class to work even more than they already are to afford previously affordable things. Either that or we all became too decadent. Not we. Not like me and you. The previous generation. Maybe because like, do you ever sometimes, I don't know, it's like a tough thing. It's like, could it be that we do expect too much? But that expectation was driven by the fact that, like, well, times are good. Everything's on the up and up. And even people on the lower class, even poorer people can live good. If you're middle class, you get to live great. If you're upper class, you're fucking on cloud nine. Then I do wonder if like that's things are starting to come down. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like the epitome of like what counts as a first world problem. Like, is a first world problem a valid problem? Kind of gets into the whole philosophical debate of it all, but it's like at the end of the day, I will tell you this, and I know you know this, Cheese, but like it's the only thing anybody can really, I think, if you're going to spend a lot of energy, if you're going to, talk is cheap. I say shit. I don't practice what I preach sometimes, but the thoughts still, maybe I'm trying to throw something good out into the ether here. It's like, no matter what's going on around you, the only thing you have control over is how you react to it. Your perspective. And that's why I think like the internet kind of does fuck everything up. Not all the time, but a lot of times, where it's like, to one person, having the idea of having less even if it's a little bit less, is devastating. And I notice I'm caught up in that too. You know, it's like, oh, the cost of living has gone up and everything's more expensive now. And that's true. And the things that we could once afford, or maybe for a lot of people, it's like you were used to living in abundance and maybe now you can't. And then for people who are already not living in abundance, now it's like, well, you're going to be getting even less. And so, you know, it is a real problem where it's like, well, how concerned should we be about this? But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control. You know, it's like, if you can't change what's happening, maybe you do what you can. You partake in what you can. You vote. You do, you do everything you could possibly do. But it's like, at the end of the day, this is just how it is, and you have to deal with it. This is why I think sometimes it's better to just look internally. Like, better yourself. Focus on getting yourself to a point where you can better navigate the struggles. There's like this famous Bruce Lee quote. I want to see if I can bring it up. It's a good one. The quote is, Bruce Lee's famous prayer quote is, quote, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." And it's a simple quote, but I think it's, he's got a lot of quotes, bro. Bruce Lee was a great philosopher on top of being a martial artist. But I think that quote, it's very simple, but it gets to the core and the essence of, like, yeah, man, you can hope for things to be, ideal, and for things to work out, and you can hope all you want, and that's great. But maybe, if you can better prepare yourself to be able to be more resilient, and to be able to overcome certain challenges and obstacles that hopefully won't come your way, but if they do, at least you're kind of ready for it. You can endure it. And that's kind of what I think of sometimes, where it's like, what do I have control over versus what I just have absolutely no control over whatsoever? And that's what makes YouTube sometimes really difficult for me. YouTube is like the epitome of, like, I don't know what the fuck I have control over. Like, I mean, even when it comes to, like, doing my streams, like, we're literally right now, like, I don't have control over when people want to donate. I don't have control over the topics that are going to be available any given day or any given week. The only thing I have control over is, like, whether or not I'm going to do a stream at all, and I can title it what I want. And that's it. That's literally all I have control over. And it's kind of jarring, because it's like, wow, I don't really have control over much, do I? No, you don't. You don't. So it's, it's something that I contend with frequently when I'm navigating YouTube. Same thing with making videos. Like, I don't know how this is going to do. I don't know if the algorithm's going to pick this up or care about it or not. I have no idea. The way I look at it is that all the sad things are reminders for us to be thankful for what we have, then do what we can for those who are less fortunate. Yeah, it's a really good way of looking at it. I mean, you can't prevent, none of us are God. You can't prevent these things from happening. You can't prevent tragedies. You can't prevent bad things from happening. I mean, I feel like if it were up to me, yeah, I would make everything right, but it's not up to me. It's not up to you either. So, the next best thing you could probably do is what you're saying, where it's like, well, is there anything good that can be taken away from this? And, I'm not going to say what it was, but it's like, Ghetto God had mentioned it. Like, I'm assuming we came across the same thing. And I'll just tell you, like, it is there's certain things you see. It's like, this is a little bit of a wake up call. Maybe it's short lived, but here it is. It's in front of me. And it's like, I'm going to be much more appreciative of, my kids and my family after hearing that. Still very disturbed, but if that's all that's the only thing I can do. That's all I can do. It's hard though. It's hard, man. You know, we're not, you know, we're human beings. We're wired to just kind of operate on a what's in front of us type basis. You know, we're wired to react. That's how we had to survive. We still survive that way in some instances, but anyway, totally got off of gaming topics. I'm sorry. I did it again. Son of a bitch. I did it again. I'm sorry. Do or do not. Like Yoda, exactly. Talking about affordable things, did you see the E-Day controllers? I did see them. Are they extremely expensive? I didn't see the pricing. Let me see. Yeah, the Gears of War E-Day control. They look really good, I think. Oof. $90. $90, bro. That's $5 more than the Wolverine DualSense. They look good though, yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking about getting the Wolverine DualSense, to be honest. I don't want the plates or anything. I'm just thinking about getting a yellow DualSense because I'm like, fuck, man. I'm not like super into buying limited edition stuff anymore, or like different colored stuff. But this for the Wolverine one, this feels like one where I'm like, But yeah, I'm glad some of you guys appreciate the talk we just had. Yeah, the Wolverine one's expensive. It's like $85. It's like just as expensive. MBG, I need help. I'm trying to stream my YouTube podcast. I keep getting an error that says something went wrong. Is it does it say that when you go live or like literally when you're trying to set up your stream? Because I will tell you this, Primetime Gaming Nation, I've been having this problem with YouTube for the past 4 days where I go to hit go live or, live stream, and then I, create new stream. I set it all up. I type my title. I get my thumbnail. I do everything. And I go to like create it. And then it just says something went wrong and it deletes it. And then I have to do it again. And the second time I do it, it works. And it's been consistently doing that for like a week. So something's like kind of broken. MBG needs a soundbite of Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again every time he veers off topics. Yep. Did you see what Colin said about PlayStation, MBG? Do you agree? Was it on his Twitter? I may have seen it. Are you going to use the controller or keep it in the box? I mean, I'll probably use it. I'm not a fan of... I don't buy stuff to keep it in the box. I just don't do that. I can't do... Like, I'm not interested in doing that. If I was planning on reselling it, which I've never operated that way, I would keep it in the box. But no, I only buy stuff that I actually want to use. That's why I don't want the plates, because it's like I'm not really interested in the plates. I don't want to change my plates. It's when you go live. If it's giving you a problem when you're trying to go live, it could be your I don't know, like your stream key perhaps. You might want to look into that. I'm not sure exactly. I'm like the last person to ask for technical help, to be honest. When I have shit going on with my stuff, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. What was I about to do though? I was about to do something. Oh, you want me to check what Colin said? You think Colin's a corporate clown? His whole Last Stand subreddit is people crapping on him. Really? I never checked the Last Stand subreddit. I wasn't aware they had a subreddit. Let me see. I think he popped up on my feed, but I didn't. I don't know if I got the chance to read what he said. I'll check his Twitter now. Oh, was it his latest clip? Should we react to this Last Stand clip?
The one thing that I wanted to say, though, and I've been trying to articulate this, and I talked a little bit about this, I think, on the stream, but if I had more time and inclination, I would even make a video about this, because I think this is, there's something here. I think this is the outcry, right, about not only the discs, but about PlayStation generally over the last few years. Because I've been on record as saying that I believe that there is something really weird going on. Like there's something weird in the ether. Something doesn't feel right. Right? Like it doesn't. There's something weird about PlayStation right now. And
Well, just, I mean, this is like a 4-minute clip, but 1 minute in, I mean, I can agree with that. Like, I don't know if he goes on to identify what it is, but I agree. Shit's been weird, man. Like, here's my theory on that. I don't know if he goes into it. My theory is it's the corporate structure interfering with the creative side to an extent. Like, for example, right now, there's an incredibly strange dichotomy that exists, in my opinion, with PlayStation, where it's like Wolverine looks fucking awesome, and we should be like, Wolverine is a game that should be just as exciting as Spider-Man 2018. Like, do you remember how people felt with Spider-Man 2018? Or even like with God of War Lao Fei? Maybe, I don't know that it could match the excitement for like God of War 2018, but like you go back to that time period of PlayStation 2018, like they were firing on all cylinders. They had goodwill. They had great games. They had a great public presence. They were talking to fans. They made the fans feel good. They made the regular gamers feel good. Like they were just nailing it all. Now it feels like, well, yeah, you know, we're going to have Wolverine, and of course it's going to look amazing because Insomniac is a great developer, but, you know, we don't care what you want outside of that. We're not, you want us to keep making discs? What are you talking about? We're going silent, man. Tune in our next State of Play. Leave us alone. Like it is weird because it's like this is the opposite of how Sony handled it last gen. And I'm like, dude, last gen, you got it all. You got it all. This gen, they're like, we'll give you like half. We'll give you the and you know, to be fair, people are like, but isn't that the most important thing? You know, would you rather have a Sony that's blowing smoke up your ass but ain't got no games? Like nothing worth playing. I mean, to some people, they feel like Sony doesn't have anything worth playing, but I mean, like, would you, you know, like, would I rather Sony be telling me what I want to hear right now and there being no Wolverine and no God of War Lao Fei? Probably not. Like, realistically, like, truthfully, it's like, I know, because I'd be like, well, fuck, man, like, these words can only go so far. But the balance is just off. Oh, you finally just played Spider-Man 2018? Game felt just like a Ubisoft game, but felt smooth. Now, they don't have to. Or you're saying now they don't have to. They have everyone locked in with digital libraries and trophies, and they're too attached to leave the platform. I know. And that's what feels nefarious about it, where it's like they should respect that. Not, yeah, I mean, that corporate view is too cold if that's how they view it, where it's like, where are you going to go? It's like, I don't know, man, but fuck. Come on, like, don't be a dick. Feels like Sony's being a dick. That's what it feels like. It feels adversarial. Sony feels like they're being unnecessarily adversarial. There it is. That's what's weird. Back then, it felt like they were trying to be your friend. And sure, they were still a corporation, and, you know, you only take it so far, but now they're just like, we hate you. Now give us your money. Why would I give you my money if you hate me? You want to play Wolverine, don't you? It's like, son of a bitch. Like, it's what it feels like. It's like, that's a choice, I guess. I do think that will bite Sony in the ass. Not short term, probably not midterm, but eventually they can't keep that attitude up forever. They just can't. It's going to bite them. And if it doesn't bite them, like, it could come in the form of somebody else is going to slap them. Someone else is going to slap them. Will it be Xbox? I don't know. Probably not, but Somebody will. Gabe Newell's going to have he's going to get tired of Sony's shit.
And whether it matters or not, whether it tracks for the market or not, is a totally different story or a different series of stories. But what I think I've come to realize is we are seeing the outburst, reasonably so, of a group of people on a console and in the console space that are starting to realize that it's no longer about them. And I was saying recently that I said it on social, I think actually, that I kind of already realized this intuitively in the early to mid PS4 generation, when you started to see like what was doing well and how things were going and how things were selling and how people were spending their time. And I remember being blown away over and over and over again during that era, and even in the early Sacred Symbols era, where we would discover like, how much are they selling these things on Fortnite for? What? Like, Madden Ultimate Team cards make what? Like, and you start kind of internalizing this idea. It's like, this can't possibly be true.
That's interesting. I didn't know he was going in that direction. MBG, you were saying yesterday all the diss comments were pointless and just for likes, but what they really do is slowly build up resentment against Sony, causing brand erosion. I mean, I don't want to. Maybe, but what you're referring to, Sparky, is like something more long term. I do agree in the long term, this could ultimately all add up to something, but I don't know, man. Like maybe it's just the hopelessness in me. Maybe it's the cynic in me. But I'm like I don't know. Maybe I'll turn heel again. Maybe I should. I don't know if I can though, because it's like I don't feel I can't be the person. I can't be the person that's like, I'm gonna fucking go crazy ape shit on Sony, and I'm not letting off the gas. But I'm gonna play Wolverine. I'm gonna play GTA. I can't be that person because that is too hypocritical. It's like that's not, bro. That is just not gonna work. But I feel like what I can do is maybe be the in between, where it's like I am who I am. I'm gonna want to play what I want to play, but I acknowledge the problem for what it is, and I'll tell you this. And I can tell you this with complete confidence. If I genuinely believed and felt like we have a chance, you literally watched this, by the way, in July, the first 2 weeks of July. If I believe we have a chance, I will be the tip of the spear if that's what I have to be. But I have to believe, man. I'm a go big or go home type of person with that type of stuff. And it's like, that's exactly what I did. I did genuinely believe we could, shit on Sony hard enough within 2 weeks to get them to fucking change. And they didn't. And I'm still surprised. I'm still surprised by that, man. I have to admit, like, I am still kind of shocked. Like, God damn, Sony. Like, y'all just really fucking ate that, huh? And like, we sure did. We ate it all. I'm like, okay. But I think that's where I can't be that way now because it's like, I don't believe it. I don't. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe like a certain level of brand erosion. But I this is where I do think what Colin's saying, there's truth to what he's saying, man. It sucks ass, but it's true. We're like what Colin's saying, and Sony's like, it tasted good too. Yeah. Sony's crazy. I'm going to play the rest of the clip, but it seems like what he's trying to say is that like PlayStation finds their success off of people who are not the enthusiast, off of people who are not the hardcore. And this is why they're so okay being like, you don't have to stay. We're pretty sure you will, though. Because to be fair, it's like, it's not like Sony is not doing anything right. This is where I try to ground people in reality a little bit, where it's like, you can say Sony is making a huge mistake and they might be causing massive brand damage, possibly over the mid to long term with this decision. And that's true, or at least it could be. Who's to say? All we can say is a certain group of people are very angry and vocal right now. But then it's like, but we do have to keep in mind, and this is where like, this is where when you compare what's happening to PlayStation right now to like Xbox last generation, and I'm just bringing it up because I think if you look at Sony didn't fuck up the most important thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's the important part here that I think too many people are overlooking, where it's like the market itself will judge Sony, not YouTube comments, not Twitter replies. Sure, that doesn't help Sony, and maybe that can influence a small group of people to be like, yeah, fuck Sony. I saw enough people shitting on them. I'm going to shit on them too. Sure. But it's like Sony is offering a PS5 console that's a very competent console that if you want to buy the equivalent to PC, you are going to have to pay more. If you want to buy the alternative, which would be the Xbox Series X, you are going to have to pay more and be locked out of certain games. They offer the Pro console for people who want better console performance. It's expensive, but again, it's like if you want the equivalent for PC, you're going to have to pay more and you're not getting a certain amount of games. You're losing certain exclusives if you have any interest in them, right? And now they have GTA 6 that they can kind of prop up. What I'm trying to say is that like Sony's still offering a core product that I think this is where people delude themselves a bit, where it's like you can have any opinion you want on it, but the fact of the matter is like the market is responding to Sony's products. And it's why like I'll give you an example. Well, I don't even need to give you a fucking example. We literally have it in front of us. It's not an example. It's actually happening. GTA 6. Like, GTA 6 is digital only, guys. Literally, right now, you're being slapped in the face with it. Hold up. You know what I meant. I don't know if you know what I meant, but you are. Right now, not next year, not January 2028. Right now, you're being told, we're not giving you the option for GTA 6. You're going to buy it digitally. When I ask this question, could enough people refrain from buying GTA 6? Could we boycott GTA 6? To force them to offer a disc version. Literally nobody's going to say, yeah, we can. No one's going to say that. Why do you think that is? Once you can honestly answer that question, you know, there's your answer. Like that's why I'm saying, like, your energy is better served somewhere else. And I mean that with no offense. Like, literally, it's like, I think if you want to pour your energy into pushing for something, there are other things I think you actually could win a battle on. This is not one of them. Because that, again, GTA 6 is the canary in the coal mine, dude. It's like, this game is removing that option. You know what? Let me throw in another hypothetical, though. You ready? This one's even better because maybe somebody will say, well, that's not fair, MBG. It's GTA 6. Nothing's bigger than GTA 6. You're right. So let me take it to another level. Let's say Wolverine, which is coming out in a month. Let's say there was no disc version and it was digital only. Do you think enough people, do you think a boycott would be successful? Do you think enough people would choose not to buy it and play it? I'm going to give you the answer. The answer is no. Could it be enough to maybe do a little bit of surface damage? Yeah. Maybe a little bit of splash damage? Yeah, I think so. Where they could feel it. Would it be enough to actually like threaten the success of the game? No. And that's the whole point of all of this. Is that this is why I say the fucking words don't matter. We could find out that tomorrow that the disc version of Wolverine is canceled. It's still going to sell millions. That's not me being adversarial to you or to anybody who's against it and saying, so give up, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just saying that's the reality we live in. And everybody, I think, knows it. I just think there's not a lot, but there's still people that they don't, and I get it. Like, I understand that feeling too, where it's like, but, there's just people that don't want to accept it. They refuse to accept it. And I admire that to an extent. It's like, yeah, like don't, and people feels like you don't want to give up the fight. And it's like, that's fine, man. But at some point you're going to realize you're like the Japanese soldier hiding in the tree, 29 years after World War II ended. And the general's going to have to come and confirm to you that the war's over. It's over, and I guess I'm just trying to tell people that now, because it's like the only way we could change anything is enough people would have to boycott Wolverine and GTA 6, especially GTA 6. That is the only way you could ever reverse this. And the unfortunate reality is that not only is no one going to boycott these games, not only is there, just simply not enough people that would even entertain that notion, but these games, and well, I don't want to talk about Wolverine, but GTA is going to break all records. And so it's like, I was about to make a really crazy ass analogy. I'm not making that analogy. I'm not doing that. I was about to make a fucking awful like World War II analogy. That was a close one. But yeah. Anyway, let me continue Colin's clip here. Sony should charge $1 every time you want to play a game you own digitally, MBG. Make that money off the sheep. I mean, there's limits. Listen, there are limits. We just haven't figured out what they are yet. Like, I will say this. If Sony keeps this up, they're gonna find the limit. GTA 6 isn't the limit. Wolverine isn't the limit. PS6 could be. Maybe. But they're going to find the limit. And when they do, it's hard to tell what Sony will do as a reaction. But, the look, man, I'm just going to say, the fucking fact of the matter is, and this is where, like, my frustration comes out. The fact of the matter is, people didn't buy physical games. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm just saying, like, it's getting annoying seeing people bitch about this. It's like, where the fuck were all of you? I'll tell you where I was. I was fucking buying physical games. Every goddamn time. Every fucking time. And that's just what I start to get pissed, where it's like this is what people chose, man. Like, I didn't choose it, and maybe half the people, but you know what drives me up a fucking wall is like the amount of fucking people that are probably leaving comments on, and partaking in this, that it's like, you fucking buy digital games. Like, you're not even actually part of this. Like, you just contributed to, you are literally the reason this is happening. I fucking promise you that's happening right now, but you can't prove it. You can't prove it. But that's why Sony doesn't give a shit. That's why Sony doesn't give a shit, because they're like, bro, we are fucking looking at our charts. We're like, y'all want this. Y'all fucking ask for it. So we're going to take advantage of that. And that's where people like me get pissed. It's like, you shouldn't take advantage of that. Like, stop. Don't do that. So he's like, shut it. We are going to do that. I'm like, fuck. And I don't know. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's just, like, I'm not trying to blame the consumer. It's not even that I'm blaming the consumer. It's just all those times people decided, I'm just going to buy this game digitally. That's why we're here. And there's nothing we can't undo that. It's too late now. That's the problem ultimately. Is it's too late now. On a scale from 1 to 10, how hyped are you for Wolverine? I'm on 10 out of 10 for Wolverine. Yeah. Calling it very predictable. I'll be honest, man, like, it could be the most predictable Wolverine story ever. I don't care. Like, it looks fucking awesome. I'm excited for it. I can't deny.
And it be about me anymore. And I think that people have gone along reasonably so under the idea that, oh no matter what kind of casual play goes on this console, it really runs through us. And we kind of determine the direction of things. And I'm like, I don't think so. And I think they're telling you that. And that's a tough fucking pill to swallow. Because
that's true. Hold on. I'm going to keep it playing. I just want to, Blaze Flame, you're asking if I can read your last message. You're saying, MBG, why people aren't being vocal and fighting for better consumer protection and rights, like better PSN security and better refund system, better PlayStation hardware, liquid metal, SSD failures, etc. Well, I don't know, man. Because I think it's one of those things, to be honest, where it's like, I think a lot of people didn't give a shit until it affected them. You know, I think that there were a lot of, and I was kind of like that, I guess. You know, where it's like, okay, I'm very tolerant of a lot of other issues, but at least I can still buy my physical games. It's like, you can't do that anymore. It's like, what? You know what I mean? I think that's why a lot of people, it is not a lot, but enough people. It's like, whoa, what are you talking about? But that's the thing, the things you're highlighting. I mean, at first I didn't agree with this, but now I fully agree with it. Like, yes, that's what we need to fight for now. If there's anything worth fighting for, it's that. Again, it's going to be a long, arduous battle, but a worthwhile one. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We have Rich Rod with the $2 chat. Says 60 is disgusting. If you chumps don't get us to 300 new gifts, 18 people will be banned for life. Keep acting disgusting, and you will feel my destruction. Rich, please don't threaten people for memberships. I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, guys, if you want to drop any more, feel free. If you want to show any more support, I appreciate it. But Rich, 60 is a lot, man. 300 is unreasonable. 300 is unreasonable. Average Couch Gamer, member for 1 month, saying, please just watch the whole video and then go on your yap, try it. No offense. All right, I'll finish it. I know, I'm sorry. I take too long. The clips, we have 2 more minutes. I'll just play it. No offense. What offense?
Because I understand that a lot of us were there since the beginning, and people like us are the ones that constructed this place. But they don't really care. And so we either, and you can't. This is why when people were upset when I tweeted this last week, but it's true. It's like when they're talking about exclusive games and how important they are, I'm like, don't you see the inverse relationship between exclusivity and money made? It might not be causal, but it exists. In other words, like, our behavior doesn't move the fucking needle. All of this shit does. They're making more and more and more and more and more money, releasing fewer and fewer and fewer first-party games, many of which don't even sell, like Saros, which was played by a virtually irrelevant number of people. When you consider they have 125 or 130 million monthly active users and 500,000 people played it. And then what you walk away from that is that your behavior matters. Like,
right, yeah.
And I describe it as a level of myopia. It's not an attack. It's not an insult. It sucks for me too. If PlayStation was what I wanted it to be, it wouldn't look like this. Does this make any sense to you guys? I really think that there's something here about the PlayStation audience coming to a realization about itself. That, by the way, the Nintendo audience had to come to. They had their come to Jesus moment in the Wii U era. It's like, actually, this is all that exists of you right now. You know, you're not as big as you think. There needs to be way more of you. And I think Sony looks at it that way, and certainly Xbox with their ambitions to reach 1 billion players and shit like that. Like it's not I hate to say it. It's just an observation. It's not an endorsement.
Yeah, it's not a pleasurable thing to acknowledge or to showcase or to point out.
So he posted that on Twitter. Let's see what the replies are. The top reply is somebody saying, "This screams give up, lie down, and be a doormat. It's not about accepting what's happening. It's about making it as difficult and noisy as humanly possible. It may not move the needle, but it makes them think on their next anti-consumer idea. There will be a straw eventually." Colin responds by saying, "There's nothing to give up, lie down, or be a doormat about. I'm perfectly happy on PlayStation 5. I'm inundated with things to play at all times. I'm not going anywhere. I also understand that my behavior isn't determinative anymore. I can/do accept that I'm not myopic." Another comment with a bunch of upvotes says, "PlayStation 6 is still a fail, though. No core gamer is going to buy a $1,000 plus console without a disc drive option, and no casual is going to buy a $1,000 plus console in general. It's just too much for them. There's no way the PS6 will be successful. PlayStation has shot itself in the foot and is slowly bleeding to death." I think I did read that comment. Actually, I think I did come across this. Maybe I didn't listen. I just read what he said. I didn't listen to the clip, though. I saw that comment. Somebody says running through ball and gun gamers will not end well. The Wii U situation was different. Plenty of Nintendo fans bought the 3DS. Splitting the market didn't work anymore. It created too many droughts of games. Let's see how many of these ball and gun gamers pay $1,000 for a PS6. I personally think many will just stick with the PS5 and it will still be supported. But see, that's the ironic thing, though. If Sony just sticks with the PS5, Sony still wins. Unless people abandon the PS5 for something else. And it kind of goes back to what Cheese was saying, where he was like, what was it you said, that Sony's just kind of expecting you to not leave for any reason, you know? I mean, I think that another way of kind of interpreting what Colin just said is that it's too late. And I think he's right, mostly. We're like, he's saying how it's just an observation and it's not something he endorses and it's not good, but it just is. And I'm like, the problem is Sony. I think it's hard to like blame people, right? It's hard to blame people where it's like you did this, you gave Sony the pass, and it's like, no, Sony earned goodwill. We were fair towards Sony. They were fair towards us. We were fair towards them, and it was a good thing. The problem is this is where Sony did kind of turn into the villain, where they're like, we're gonna burn that goodwill. And they're doing it at a time when it's like, and if you had any plans of doing anything, like, in other words, you had to be suspicious of Sony this whole time. Like, you had to, no matter how much of a fan you were towards PlayStation, you had to be prepared for this. Like, this is going to happen. Like, they're going to turn. They're going to make these decisions. They're not going to be like they were. And some people were prepared for that, but I think a lot weren't. I think a lot of people, at the very least, I think a lot of people thought, like, okay, Sony will do some crazy shit. They won't do that. And Sony's like, we're doing it. And it's like, oh, shit. So just like you and Colin are saying, with the discs, do you agree with him? If they stop producing exclusives, Sony will still be fine? So I think Sony would be fine. I think PlayStation would survive and most likely be fine if they stopped producing exclusives of any kind. But here's the thing. If you were to ask me in the long run, do I think they would be fine? No. No, I don't. I think that if Sony stopped producing exclusives, they would be fine for potentially a long time. But something would happen eventually where it's like, okay, this isn't going smoothly anymore. What do we have to fall back on? Well, we used to have exclusives to fall back on and a really hardcore enthusiast group of dedicated fans. But we don't have them anymore because we stopped serving them. Then that would be a problem. Then that would fuck Sony, where it's like, well, then who do we have? Nobody. Something changed, something. But the idea, this is why I'm saying, like, the disc situation is kind of not fully comparable to that, because the disc situation, it doesn't really hinge on it in that way. Like, I do think Sony is losing some people with this decision. Undoubtedly. I do believe there are people where they're like, I've had it with Sony, I'm out, bro. But it's like, if we really zoom out, it's like, well, okay, so they're still producing games, and they're still producing hardware, and they're still, like, nothing has changed except they're not doing discs anymore. I don't think that's enough to do any actual significant damage to the PlayStation brand. But when I talk about the long term, like, what the disc can be, though, what this decision to remove the disc, what I think it can be is a kind of like a start. You know, it can be like a foundation of sorts where, like, undoubtedly Sony will make mistakes in the future. And when they do, it's like, okay, well, it's, you know, here's the disc situation. This is what they do with discs. Now they do this. We can put that on top. And it, you know, rinse and repeat for every time Sony fucks something up or makes a change that people aren't happy with. And before you know it, you got like a giant hill of problems and things that Sony did that, you know, but that's where I'm saying it hinges on Sony fucking more things up. And they can. And I don't blame anybody. But this is why I warn people. I don't want to not warn them, but it's like, hold on, think for a second. Sony hasn't said or done anything except this. I think it's okay if people want to jump to conclusions, but it's like, just be mindful that Sony hasn't said anything yet. We have no fucking idea what they're planning on doing. I'm not saying you should assume the best and give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm simply saying that there is a possibility. And I know people they don't want to hear this, and I understand why they don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it either, in a sense, but it's like, they may have plans that when they reveal them, you're actually like, wow, okay, that's actually good. I wasn't expecting that. Again, I don't blame you for not expecting that. I'm not even saying I do, but I'm just saying the fact of the matter is, this is all they've said and done. In the meantime, between now and the PlayStation 6 reveal, I assume the next time Sony's going to talk is the PlayStation 6 reveal. And when I say talk to us. I think it's not going to be till the PS6. In the meantime, here's Wolverine, here's Control Resonant, here's GTA 6, here's Phantom Blade 0, here's Onimusha. Like, here's an overwhelming, here's God of War Lao Fei, here's an overwhelming amount of games. Here's a PS5 that's not going up in price again yet. Here's a Pro if you want it. Like, I just think too many people are failing to see that it's not just ball and gun gamers. I think that's ultimately what I'm trying to say here. The one area where I will disagree a little bit with Colin is that I don't think it's that Sony isn't listening to or serving us anymore. By us, we're talking about the more enthusiastic, core PlayStation player. I just think that Sony they are taking something away that appealed to that specific gamer, that specific PlayStation gamer, and it's quite devastating. But as of right now, that's all they're taking away. You know, they're not telling you we're not making games for you anymore. They're not telling you. Now, granted, Colin did mention that they're making less games than ever, and that's true. But this is where it's like, what did people tell PlayStation for years? Quality over quantity. That's very true. You know, and that's what I still maintain. Like, as long as Wolverine lives up, I'm okay if that's the only major title this year. Hopefully it won't be like that every year, but that's okay. You know? That's going to, if that, you know, that game could end up being for me like, wow, this is one of the best games I played this gen. And that means a lot to me. But yeah, maybe you're right, Nico. But again, it's because I really thought we could turn Sony's decision. I really did. And that's why I haven't removed anything I put out there, because it's like, I believed, man. But now I realize that, like, well, Sony's too fortified. Sony knows that the only way we could get them to change their mind and reverse their decision is, well, can you get enough people to not buy Wolverine? Can you get people to turn their PS5s off and unplug them for all of September? No. I do have a direct donation from Rich Rod. He says, no, I'm serious. If we do not get 300, I will ban. I'm not reading the rest of that, Rich. You got to calm the fuck down, bro. Holy shit. I can't read that. Calm down, my friend. We're not getting 300 members. Can we get 75? 75 would be huge. I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy with 75. I'm more than happy. I mean, I'm happy with 60. But Rich, 300? Chill, man. Cheese, you're asking me to read your last. Let me see. You're saying, I think Sony is looking at how Valve survived no discs for 20 plus years. Yes, they had problems and errors and even lawsuits, but Sony thinks it'll blow over. But consumer practices need to change. Yeah, and that's why I've said this too. Like, Sony, if you're going this direction, surely you're looking at Valve. Like, surely you have a team of people investigating Valve and writing shit down to report to you on, like, here's what we need to do, because they've already been through this. You know. I hope to God that's what Sony's doing. Because if not, it's like, bro, you are going to be stepping on a lot of rakes. Totally needlessly. MBGL cringe when people say all of Sony's goodwill is gone. Really? Are you really going to attribute Sony's entire goodwill to just physical games? It's laughable. Well, that's the thing. It's not the entirety of it, right? I think it's like, you know what I think it is, Irfan? It's not even the goodwill. It's like, I don't even think people... I think the assumption is Sony wasn't keeping physical discs around out of goodwill. I think the assumption was that, like, you need this. And you'd be crazy to get rid of it. And they're like, we're getting rid of it. It turns out that actually the only reason we would have kept these discs around is to garner goodwill. And we're not interested in that right now. We're interested in doing better business and what's best for our business. And I think and there is a stark contrast there, Irfan, where it's like, we look back at 2013 and Sony comes out on stage and they say, they're like, we care about discs, we care about giving you ownership, we care about letting you lend your game to a friend or trade it in, whatever you want. And we see what Sony's doing now. And yes, the first thing that will be brought up is like, yeah, but that was 2013. It's 2026. Times have changed. That's true. That is true. And that is undeniable. But it is, I think, also undeniable that, like, that was still Sony, though, who said that. That was still the same company. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't blame anybody for looking back at that and being like, bro, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like, I know more people buy digitally now, but goddamn, you guys did a complete U-turn. And it's true. They did a complete 180. The question is it justified or not? And that depends on who you ask. I'll tell you what, you go ask the person who spent the entire gen buying their games digitally and isn't even paying attention to this shit. They'll say, they're probably gonna be like, oh, I didn't even know they still made discs. They don't care whether it's justified or not. And that's the point. That's the point, you know? We have Lund. He says Ubisoft stated in 2017 and 18 that Sony in 2019 would be making less games. Nobody believed me back then, even though they stated it themselves. Expect even less games next gen unless it's AI. Well, I think Sony's established a bit of a cadence, Lund. I think that there were a lot of warnings going into the later half of the PS4 gen, into the PS5 gen, that like we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to sustain this output at this level. There's going to be slowdown. But I think what Sony has achieved, I think this is the new sustainability of like 1 to 2 big games a year. And a lot of people might be like, that's not enough. But it's like, well, it might be for most people and for the Sony's business. Sony can't, dude, you have to understand, like, look at Wolverine. If Sony does less games, that means a year without a big holiday release. Like, that's not going to fly. Tarnish, you're saying, MBG, is it okay to tell you this? I feel like your streams lately wear me down. Not mentally. There's a clear lack of excitement. Sours it a bit for me. I will still beg for memberships and give you, like, I mean, that's fair, man. Like, I don't know. My energy's been off, and, you know, I can't deny that. I've been having my own struggles with stuff. You know, I don't know. I guess there's like a part of me that I still feel conflicted about things. You know, it doesn't help that, you know, my livelihood is attached to this. That doesn't help at all. That creates an immense amount of stress for me. And I'm not complaining. You know, I chose this. I don't have to do this. I could go do anything else. I understand that. But I'm just saying, it's like, I want to do what's right for me, but what's right for my channel as well. And I have to admit that, like, there is a bit of a, those things are not as evenly in alignment as I would like, you know? And so, but it's also not just me. It's not just the PlayStation situation and the discs. It's not just me here. It's like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening around us. I think this is why a lot of people, like, I'll put it to you this way, Tarnished. It feels like there is a positivity that exists in me. There is a core, like a center. And I think a lot of people, like, I'll put it to you this way. I got this comment from somebody. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this person left a comment. It got 5 upvotes. It was on yesterday's stream. They say, I got off YouTube for 2 months, and when you play games in isolation, it's so much better. I only came back for the physical game thing. Now I'm dipping back out. And this is the problem, man. People's peace. The internet can be a lot of things. It depends on where you go. Like, I have to just think about what I want my channel to be. And I know you guys can't tell, or sorry, I know you can tell. You definitely can tell. Like, I'm in like a, you didn't get it? Basically what he was saying, Irfan, he was saying that, like, he stopped watching YouTube for like a couple months and just played games without being connected to the internet. And by connected to the internet, I mean like part of the zeitgeist, part of the conversation. There was no conversation. He was just playing games. He disconnected. And he found it more enjoyable. He only came back to see what was going on with the announcement that Sony's done with discs. But now he's getting off the internet again. And this is where it's like, I don't know. I'm at a bit of an impasse, it feels like, personally. I probably shouldn't be this honest. Like, it's to my detriment, more than likely. But, I don't mind being completely honest and totally transparent with my audience and people who are willing to listen, because it's like, it's just real. I still have a positivity in me and an optimism in me that is at the core of who I am. Like, for example, if you ask me, do I feel bad about gaming in August of 2026? I don't. Do I feel bad about like that? Have I changed my mind on the PlayStation 5? No. No. Like I was talking to Mrs. MBG yesterday and I said, you know what would be crazy? This is why I hate when people call me a grifter. Like I hate when people call me that because it's like you don't fucking know what you're talking about. God. But like I could make a video tomorrow. Okay. I just want to make it clear. This is where we are. This is why it's difficult. I'm just trying to express that I didn't have to earlier on in this generation work hard to be positive. You know, it did like there wasn't I didn't have to put like shields up and it's like we got to protect this fucking bubble of positive that's making it sound like toxic positivity, but you know what I'm saying, where it's just like it was just there. You didn't have to be so, you know, not everything was so doom and gloom. These days you got to put on the hazmat suit. You know? Like you just have to. Not with everything, but at least with it. I'm talking about covering PlayStation and Sony. And you know, honestly, gaming in general. I'm not going to lie, man. Like it's not just PlayStation, it's a lot of the gaming space. But I could make a video tomorrow. I could title that video. And I'm about to do it just to fucking prove a point. But I don't know. Tomorrow's my day off, so I'm probably just going to relax. But I could make a video titled, you ready? Hold on. I'll think of it right off. PlayStation is killing it. Okay, I don't know if I could title it that. I was going to say it's killing itself. That would probably get flagged by YouTube. I can make it like PlayStation has fallen and isn't getting back up, or something like just something like that. That's all I have to do. And you know what I would have to do for that video? And I could just write a couple notes down. Be super easy. List all the things they fucked up this gen. Start with the disc, or it could go in reverse order. Here's where it started, and here's where we are now. And that video would trend. That video would more than likely get great views. It would get a lot of support. And it would do well. And what YouTube would then tell me is, look at that. That did really well. You should keep doing stuff like that. Here's the problem. I don't want to do that. You know? And this is why I'm saying, and to be clear, I don't want to do that because that's forced. Jesus, Roadkill, that's a crazy title. That's a crazy title. PlayStation is on life support, some shit like that. It's just, you know, I know how to play the game. But I can't play the game if my heart's not in it. I was playing the game, so to speak, the first 2 weeks of July. That's how people perceive it. That's why they call me a grifter. But my heart was in it. That was real. That was not an act. That was not performative. But, you know, time went on, my feelings changed. And that's why, dude, every single thing YouTube told me, every single fucking analytic that YouTube was screaming at me, it's like, keep doing this. Do not stop. You stupid bitch. Do not stop. And I'm like, I'm going to stop. Because I'm not, at this point, I'm faking it. I'm like, not faking, but it's like, there's like, I can feel it in the air, like, be angry. Let them know. Don't take the pressure off. And I'm like, but I don't believe anymore. You know, it's like it was real. Now it's not. Mentally brainwashed grifter. Great new name. Talk about embracing the meme. But that's the thing, man, is like, I'm kind of over it to an extent. Not completely, but it's like when I see people saying like, dude, I'm so tired of hearing about this. I kind of am too. And this is coming from somebody who loves physical games, man. But it's like it's just, it is what it is. And it's like, I understand that people are going to, people are always going to have their opinions, but it's been really tough because I just kind of want to, like I said, I want to be true to myself. I don't want to force anything, but I'm not trying to create further problems for myself either. MBG fakes it confirmed. You know? And I just, I was reading that. I just read that comment on Colin's post. Like the person says, this just screams give up, lie down, and be a doormat. Like you already are. Like that's what people don't want to fucking hear, man. And this is where it's becoming really fucking hard to be an internet commentator. Because you know what I've learned more than anything? I've learned more than anything that, like, dude, people don't want to hear the truth. And those who have accepted the truth but still reject it go crazy. They get angry and they go crazy. Look around. If they don't go crazy, they turn hollow, to use a Dark Souls reference. They turn hollow. You know? There's no more life left inside. They've given up. So you either go crazy and get angry and stay angry, or you give up. And that's why people don't want to accept the truth. Yeah, cognitive dissonance. And I get it, because it's like it is a revelation to a degree where it's like, well, can we just accept the truth and be happy? And it's like, when you understand the truth is a bitter fucking pill to swallow, and it's like, it's not a happy truth. There are some aspects of it that are positive and are good, but the parts that are not, it's like, this is bad and it's unpleasant. Let's destroy GTA 6. Rise up. Yo, you guys want to go for it? You want to go for it? Boycott GTA 6? I'll be the tip of the spear. You ready? We're going to get the biggest names on board. We're going to get the biggest streamers, the biggest influencers. We're going to do it. We're going to take them down. I'd love that. I would love nothing more than to bring Rockstar and Sony to their fucking knees. It's not happening. Not with me. I mean, if somebody really big, like imagine like Mr. Beast came out and was like, we're boycotting GTA, guys. That could work. But it's not going to, like, nobody gives a shit. Like, that's the problem. Nobody gives a shit, man. No, not enough people give a shit. And that's the hard truth. So that's why, like, when the person says, like, so you just want us to give up and be a doormat, it's like, you are a doormat, my friend. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Are you involved in the gaming industry, spending money in the games industry on anything outside of Steam? On anything outside of Steam? Or are you just exclusively gaming on Steam? If you exclusively game on Steam, maybe you could make that argument. You're not a doormat. You went through the trials and tribulations of Steam needing to get their shit together, and get better for 15 years. If you're not that, though, and most people, especially if you're commenting on Colin Moriarty's post, you're probably not that. Sorry, but it's like, you're already there. You don't want to be a doormat? Fucking leave. That's your only option. Don't buy GTA. Leave. Literally, sell your PlayStation. Sell it. Never look back and leave. Then you're not a doormat. Do that for PlayStation, do it for Xbox, do it for Nintendo. Then you could say maybe you're not a doormat. But if you're involved and you're, it does, like, you can draw whatever lines you want for yourself. If you're involved, this is why the industry is where it is. because it's like, here's why. Because the casual gamer is the biggest doormat, and they're okay with it. They're a happy doormat. You know? And that's where they're a happy doormat, and the fucking executives are like, oh my God, they're a happy doormat. This is amazing. This is some of the best business we're ever going to do. And the only people getting in the way of that are people like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, we're not doormats, and we're not going to be happy about being doormats. And Sony's telling you, like, I don't know. We got all these numbers here that tell us a lot of people are happy to be doormats. And it's not just Sony. It's Nintendo. It's Microsoft. It's Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive. We're not happy to be doormats. Is that why 88% of the record-breaking pre-orders for GTA are for the $100 edition? You're not happy to be doormats? Yeah, you are. And this is where there's just a total fucking disconnect. I'm convinced at this point that the majority of the noise you hear is fake. Because what else would explain these numbers? It's frustrating, dude. Rich Rogers saying, MB Gangstas, we PlayStation for life, success. Now all you dirty Xbox. He's going back to Xbox. Go suck each other from the back. 50 deep wrapping around the block. My God, Rich, what are you on today, bro? He's got a vent. This is how he lets it out. He came back from a crime scene. Exactly, bro. You finally realize we lost. You have to become a PS only gamer again and enjoy gaming again. PC will never be your thing. Sad to see yourself forcing yourself to plan it. Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, PC, I admire Steam, dude. Like, I have to admit, I have to admit that I am a console gamer at heart. You know, gaming on PC is not coming naturally to me. It's definitely something where I'm like, okay, I'm not nearly as comfortable here. But as I navigate it, and when I partake in it, I'm like, dude, I completely understand why people have the admiration for it that they do. Because it's just different. Like, yeah, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with me trying PC gaming. I'm not, I'm not going to continue to limit myself. I'm not going to purposely limit myself. That I'm not going to do. But I am going to, I'm going to be honest with myself and be like, where do I want to play? Where do I prefer to play? And that's fine. But the thing is, like, when I navigate Steam, I'm like, dude, I don't think anybody who prefers Steam or PC would ever be adversarial towards me again, because I would literally tell them, like, Sony should do what Steam does. Steam is better than PlayStation Store by miles. And yes, like, Steam won. Steam won in the digital space. They're there before anybody. I want competition between Sony and Steam at this point because there needs to be. I can't deny that PC gaming as a whole is not, it's not as, it doesn't come to me as naturally. I yearn for that simple, maybe too simple console experience. But I don't know, man. It just, I don't know. It gets to a point where, like, October 6th, keep that date in mind. We're going to reconvene with all of this on October 6th, because that day is when Sony does their next earnings. And believe me when I tell you, that's going to be fascinating. Sony's earnings that you'll see them talk about on the 6th are between July 1st, the day they made this announcement, and September 30th. That's the window. And so I guess what I'm saying is, like, unless Sony comes out and is like, oh my God, our shit has been devastated. Look, MBG, I'm going to send you my Steam Deck and you can use it. I'll ship it Monday. Well, that's up to you, Brando of Doom. I mean, the thing about me, I really think about that, though, only because I'm not the biggest handheld guy. I mean, I anybody wants to send me anything, I appreciate that. Like, that's an extremely that's a very generous, like, dude, if that's your Steam Deck that you use, please don't do that. Don't give me your Steam Deck, man. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. He's like, I got you. He's like, I'm giving you a fucking Steam Deck. Bro's gonna force me to use a Steam Deck. PSP was great. I did like the PSP. I was young, though. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap up today's stream. I think that's going to wrap it up. I've totally just, went off. I didn't even talk about. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about one. I'm removing these two from the title because we didn't even fucking talk about them. I'm just going to do a PXP. More PlayStation and general gaming discussion. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's going to wrap up today's stream, though. My neck is starting to fucking really bother me. So it's usually when it happens, the 3.5 hour mark. Not only should you maintain that positivity, you should build on it. Stay away from the negativity as much as you possibly can. I swear it will transform your life in ways you can't imagine. Yeah, and I'll say one last thing here, Irfan. It's like, Brando of Doom, for real though, man. Like, I'm gonna level with you. I'm probably not gonna use it much. Like, I would probably use it like once or twice. And I'd probably feel obligated to be like, hey man, thanks for sending this. But that's why I'm saying, like, if you're saying if I'm not really into it, send it back, I'm gonna tell you, hold on to it. I don't want to have to send it back. Don't make me do extra work, Brando. No, but really, if a Steam Deck is something that's in my future, I don't know, man. Like, I told you, like, the next thing I want to try to get is a Switch 2. Because, like, my PC, Steam, I'm good with that. Sell it. It's gone. Up the price. Well, like if he just wants to send it just because he wants to send it, that's fine. But he's saying it's his, and it's like, bro, like, I don't know the level of value you have behind your Steam Deck, but if you have any at all, like, please hold on to it, because I would feel like kind of bad at that point, The next thing I want to get, though, is a Switch 2, maybe an Xbox at some point, but for now I'm focused on still trying to. The Xbox thing is in the air. I was gifted Gears E Day on my PC, so I think that I'm just going to play it there. So it calls the whole idea of an Xbox into question. Probably not. I'm probably not going to get an Xbox. I feel like I can't bring myself to get an Xbox knowing, like, dude, you're like, they literally anything you could have bought an Xbox for, you literally have in front of you here. That makes it almost impossible for me to buy an Xbox. If Gears was literally just Xbox, I'd probably pull the trigger. But again, somebody gifted me, like, somebody literally already bought Gears E Day for me. So it's like, fuck, man. At this point, I'd just be going out of my way. But Irfan, to what you were saying, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what I have to do to get back. I just, you're not wrong, dude. Like I talked earlier in the stream, Irfan, about how like I've not protected myself well enough, and it's true. It's fucking true. You know, like I've allowed myself to be manipulated in many different ways, even if it may not seem like it. Not purposely, you know, but just like the level of influence, the things that my eyes see, the things that I read, the things that I allow to enter my mind. You let it in. And it's going to go somewhere. Some things just dissipate on their own. Others just linger and you might not even realize it. And that's where I'm just saying, like, I got to like center myself a little bit for my own sake, for the sake of my channel and my stream, of course, and my community, but it's for my own sake more than anything, where it's like, I don't know, man. I'm like a weird place in life. You know, I'm 32. I'm going to be 33 next month. And I'm just in this weird place of like, I'm going through certain changes. Things have been changing. And then there's like this part of my life. And, you know, these two things kind of bleed over into one another a little bit because, like I said, what you get here of me is just me. But treat my chat like a bot and talk to me as much. Well, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I still appreciate that thing you sent me, you know, talking about protecting your own peace, your own inner peace. Very important. Midlife crisis is starting. It might be, man. I'm already in the midlife crisis. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me today. I want to give a big thank you and shout out to anybody who dropped support. We did hit 60 members today, which is great to see. Thank you guys so much for that support. If you dropped any super chats, any direct donations, really appreciate it. I do apologize. I am aware there was supposed to be members content today. This is part of the problem where it's like I have to figure out how to get consistent with my members content. The mistake that was made today was I was going to do an early members lounge. I then decided it would be more important to make a video. I'm not sure that was a wise decision. I don't know. Even with my video content, man, I don't know. It's just getting a little bit, I don't know. I have to think about some things. But I do apologize. I apologize that there was no members content this week. I can at least say that, you know, not yet. We still have some time, but I'm going to be bringing back Morning with the Missus hopefully early September. So there will at least be that. There will at least be that. All right. I'm not saying you won't get any members content, but see, I just got to learn to shut up. There will be more members content between now and then. God damn it. Shadowlink, he drops a $5 chat. He says, don't be a female dog, LOL. If you want to change, you make the change intentionally. It's always your choice to care or don't care. I know, man. It's not. Thanks for the kind words, Shadowlink. No, I'm not trying to be a bitch about it or anything. It's just, I'm genuinely trying to figure out, like, what do I want? And it's so weird. Like, I'll say this very last thing, Shadowlink, because you're kind of touching on something here. When I did this channel, like 80% of this channel's existence, it's just been me being like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. What feels right for me. No matter what it is. I can't deny that ever since I started streaming a lot more and I started reading a chat a lot more, and I think it's just the nature of the beast. You know, it's had a little bit of an influence on me, and it's changed that dynamic a little bit, and it's caused, you know, it causes me to question, like, well, what do I actually want? And I don't want to lie, like sometimes I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. Maybe I'm just having an identity crisis. I don't know, but I'll think about it. I'll continue to ruminate, and we'll see where it goes. At the very least, though, I can say that I want to try to be a little bit more optimistic. I mean, I feel it too. You know, my energy levels have not been great, but we'll see. It's a hat crisis. All right, guys, that's it. Before I go, I want to make sure to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter as well. He does the timestamps. Make sure you give him some thanks. Show him some love if you see him with those timestamps. Devil Shooter, appreciate what you do, man. But yeah, that's it. All right, guys, hit that like button on your way out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, until then, take care, everyone.